There's no time.
The time is
13
o'clock.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
It's Saturday night.
Yeah. I know, I'm already starting to drink a little bit.
Well, what else is new?
Yeah. My day started off fucked up. First thing I do is I get up and I fucking sit down in front of my television. I'm at the foot of the bed on it. What do you call that thing that I sit on?
I don't know. It's just like a little bench thing.
It's like a little. No, it's like a box that you. It's like a
well,
chest.
it's a bench, but you can put stuff in it.
Put
like
stuff
you
in
can,
it. Yeah. Got it at the foot of the bed. So I sit there. You know what I mean? And I'm turning on my Xbox and going through YouTube and fucking have a full cup of coffee and sit it down next to me and spill it first thing in the morning. Goes down on that thing, goes inside my fucking pants. And I'm spending an hour cleaning up spilled coffee. I was pissed. I had to get the carpet shampoo machine. I'm shampooing the top of the bench. And I just can't get that smell of coffee out of my fucking head. And I changed my pants and everything because, you know what I mean? It was sticky. You know what I mean? It had that damn Splenda, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Shit was sticking, you know what I mean? When your pants start to stick, it's bad. So I changed my fucking pants and everything, and it just somehow that fucking coffee smell just permeated it.
That happens sometimes, like
it.
when, I've had that happen too, like if I had to clean up something stinky or whatever, and it's like it just kind of stays, even though you know it's not there anymore, but it's like you can still smell it.
Well, I went back to go sit on that bench, you know, after it dried off, and I think I'm absorbing some of them damn coffee molecules.
I'm going to start calling you coffee ass.
Yeah. My ass is drinking coffee by osmosis. It's like...
There's another t-shirt, just a picture of Tom's ass with a little coffee cup.
My ass has a conversation with its ass, with its own ass. Some guy, he said it good. And then I'm sleeping. I can't remember exactly what he said. He's probably in the comment section. But what is it? Tom's ass has a conversation.
Has a discussion.
With
it was
its own
discussion.
ass.
I remember that because I said next time you fart,
funny.
I'm going to call it a discussion that your ass is having with your own ass.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I did indeed do that. Next time that happened.
And I never really quite woke up today. I just stayed sleepy all day.
Man, you got all kind of problems.
Man, it was like I was coming off that SARM cycle.
He's always you're so hormonal.
My hormones were stabilizing. I was coming off of that male pregnancy. It feels like you're pregnant. I guess it feels like it's you know, I don't know, you know what I mean? Sometimes when a woman tries to describe to a man what her cycle is like, I think it's kind of like what a SARM cycle is like. Like you feel bloated.
I guess it's hard to explain to somebody that hasn't gone through it.
I feel fucking huge.
Which is why I always went to like female gynecologists. Yeah. Because it's like you can sit there all day long and tell a dude like this, that, and the other thing, and they have no fucking idea what you're talking about.
Well, SARMs aren't androgenic. You know what I mean? But they kind of feel like they are a little bit, and you get like this swollen water retention, bloating feeling, like I hear women say that, like when they're on a rag. So it's like the man rag.
Man rag.
It's like the man rag. You fucking feel bloated and shit.
But the thing about it is that it's not just that. It's like, and the bloating is usually like for the first few days, and it's not just like your midsection, it's your whole entire body. It's your feet and your fingers,
your face and everything.
Like because like my shoes don't fit right, and like I can't get my rings on, and
that's
like all
the
this
same
other
way
kind
I
of
was
stuff.
feeling after about a month of that shit.
Everything, you feel like the Michelin Man, pretty much. You feel like you're walking like that, like waddling,
like you're walking and sloshing.
Yeah.
Past 3 days, all of a sudden, all this definition comes back and shit.
Michael Schaefer said Tom is menstruating.
It's like menstruating, exactly. Menstruating. Yeah. I'm returning back to normal. For the first, 3.5 weeks, it's all right. You know what I mean? You don't really feel it. But then, those last 4 or 5 days, it starts to overwhelm you, and you go, man, I got to come off this shit. You feel like you're a walking fish tank, man.
Welcome to my world.
Yeah.
Actually, welcome to every female of the world's world. It's like, but that's how we feel from age 10 to age 50.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just like a constant fucking roller coaster of emotions.
Well,
and
you don't
shitty feeling, and
this shit
terrible.
This shit doesn't give me any other emotion other than towards the end when it starts building up. The emotion is just getting sleepy.
Yeah.
Sleepy and your brain kind of malfunctioning. Like last week, that last show that I did, the last big show, my head was kind of swimming a little bit. I was like, yeah. I was trying to rush through it. Yeah. I got to finish this before I go to sleep, you know. And you feel sleepy and tired, but if you lay down, you won't fall asleep. You'll just stay like that.
Yeah.
You know, like
I know
it's
that
weird,
feeling.
like kind of sedated.
Well, I'm kind of like always like that because I feel like I'm always tired, but then I'm always like waking up in the middle of the night and then like for whatever reason because like I have to pee or Pookie jumped on my face or something like that, and then like I'll be like, okay, I'm really tired, go back to sleep now, and then I'll lay there for like 2 hours and I can't go back to sleep. It sucks. But yeah, so I can't believe it's like we're fucking 5 minutes into the show, we're just already talking about like hormones and one.
Zach said,
Oh, terrible.
He says, I call it irritable man syndrome.
Irritable man syndrome.
Yeah.
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 You do kind of have that a little bit.
Makes you think you got a mangina. Menstruating.
I like that one. I've
That's
never
a
heard
good
that
one.
one
That's a good
before.
one.
That
Yeah,
is a good one.
That's a good
Did
one. What are you
Pookie
doing,
just come
Pookie?
in here?
Yeah,
Oh my
come in here.
goodness.
She's fucking up my chair.
Pookie's made an early appearance.
What you making an early appearance for?
What you doing?
She's like, I heard the show starting.
She's like, I decided I was going to come. Poor little Pookie the other day because she likes to jump up on the edge of my desk here.
Yeah.
And I guess she didn't see, I guess like the cord for the mouse was like over there. And I guess she jumped up on there and didn't see it. And she grabbed that. And so she went, blah, and then she went like flying off back and she knocked over like the light and the table and everything. And I thought she was hurt because I was like, Pookie, oh my God. And like, but she ran over there. She was
Poop knows it's time for the humans to fucking talk to the lights.
Yeah, we're talking to the
We're just talking to the lights. There's just lights up here. That's all cats understand. They don't understand what talking to lights is about, but they can't stand it.
I know. She's
They're
like,
stop talking to the lights.
I need to get involved. It's like, I
Yeah.
really need to jump up here and like sit on all your buttons and stick my butthole in your camera, which she might be doing. But like I said, I'm just kind of scared because there's so much stuff like stacked on this side of the desk. I should probably move all that shit just so you can get up here. Because I feel bad that she can't get up here and that she fell like so catastrophically the other day. She didn't get hurt though, thankfully. I was like really worried about it because she just went crashing to the fucking ground. But yeah, so in case you didn't see the little title and everything like that, we're doing a show today about the Chicago Tylenol murders.
Yeah, I remember when this happened.
I do as well. I was 10 years old. It's weird because
They got the guy on video.
it's
Isn't-
weird.
isn't this one they got him
They
on
do,
video?
yeah. Or the guy that they think might be him.
Right.
It's
He's
like he
kneeling
just,
down, loading, putting it in a damn
he
shelf.
wasn't. Yeah, I don't think he was kneeling exactly, but he
was
was
he
just
just
like
a-
behind one of the people that later died.
It's been so long since I've seen it.
So they thought that it was a possibility that that's who it was. But you can't see him real good. All you can see is that he had a fucking beard or whatever. It's weird to think about, and maybe, people that are younger, like, because prior to 1982, I don't know if you guys knew this, but you know how, like, nowadays you buy, like, aspirin or whatever the fuck, and everything is, like, is sealed. Like, it has plastic seal, and it has foil seal, and it has all that kind of shit. Okay, like, before 1982, we didn't have any of that shit.
No.
Shit just opened.
Yeah. You just had to trust that people weren't going in there and
Yeah,
getting it.
well, this changed all that.
Yeah.
This was the case that brought the whole, not only like all the induction seals and all the foil and all of that kind of stuff, but it also brought in the advent of the caplet.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? That's just like one solid,
Imagine
instead of like the caplet that you can pull apart with
Imagine
which
they're
is
going to
the
start
powder in
doing
it.
that now with the fucking ice cream.
Yeah,
These
because
assholes
everybody's
licking
fucking
on the fucking ice cream.
Don't do
If you
that.
lick on ice cream, you need your fucking ass kicked.
Well, if they
just
catch you,
Yeah, you just need your fucking ass.
if they catch you, because this case also made product tampering a federal offense.
Yeah.
So if somebody catches you licking the inside of it, that is considered product tampering, and that is like a biohazard.
I think some of that ice cream licking was a hoax. I think they licked the ice cream, but then they went and bought the ice cream. But not all of them.
yeah.
Yeah.
Why would anybody do something like that? It's just like
They're contaminating fucking food stores. You don't know which one you licked, so that means you got to throw it all out.
that's what I mean. So it's like I kind of feel like I said, if they caught somebody doing that, I imagine they would prosecute that as a federal offense because for this reason, very reason.
And they show the dudes that are doing it, the people that are doing it. You look at them, you know they don't have a fucking pot to piss in, so you can't sue them. You just got to lock them up.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, yeah, because people like that should not be running around loose.
No, you're tampering with the food stores.
I mean, I know you think it's funny and everything. I'm sure they think it's funny, but that shit's not funny.
They would think that shit was real funny if I went to their house and grabbed their toothbrush and stuck that in the crack of my ass. and then just put
maybe
it,
that's
and then
what we
just
should
put it
do,
back,
and then
just-
make them
just
use
put
that
shit right
toothbrush.
back. Yeah, just put that down in my sweaty Florida fucking ass crack of Satan. Put that down in there like that. And just,
Get it all up
and
in
put
there.
that shit right back on your fucking. There you go. There you go.
Now you got to use
Brush
that. You
your-
can't buy a new one. Brush your fucking teeth,
Brush
bitch.
your fucking teeth, bitch. That'd be fucking funny. Be funny. That's
Let
how
the punishment fit the crime.
Yeah. See how funny that shit is.
Yeah. It's like that's a
Going through your cupboards, fucking grabbing them fucking oatmeal cookies out of your cupboards and rubbing up on my sweaty nuts and shit, putting them back in there.
right.
Eat that, bitch.
That's
how funny
what they-
How fucking funny was that, bitch?
Well, see, that's the shitty thing about people like that. It's like it's funny when it's like
When it's
somebody
not you.
else when it's not you.
That's
Because
funny.
people like that like have no empathy because they are like sociopaths.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like because to be honest, that would never even occur to me.
Yeah.
And like it would never occur to me to do something like
Tila's
that.
fucking going, oh my god, I can't stand you. That's because I attacked your mind, Tila. I put that image in your mind. Them fucking sweaty ass nuts. There's no hair on them though, all freshly shorn like a gentleman, but the fucking nuts still on the
a
fucking
gentleman.
chocolate chip cookie.
Yeah,
Sitting up in your cupboard. Waiting. Just waiting for you.
like little time bombs.
Like a time bomb. That's for licking the ice cream, bitch.
Oh my god, you're starting early.
I know, man. Starting early. I'm waking up, but I'm waking up slowly, like Mothra on fucking. What was the name of that island? That the little fucking giant
Oh,
Japanese
shit.
Monster Island. It was
Was it
Monster.
I don't know.
I think it was with the little Japanese girls going Mothra. The little
Whatever it was. I don't remember what they
Yeah.
said to wake
I don't know.
her
I
up.
had a crush on them when I was a little kid. I said, "Oh, yes, I need some little Japanese
They were pretty.
girls."
They
Yeah.
were pretty. I need some little Japanese
Yeah.
girls.
I want
Let's
two of them.
unpack.
Yeah.
You wanted them to be little tiny?
Yeah. I wanted the little ones. Yeah.
I wouldn't mind
'Cause that's
having
what
them
they were
around
into
if
this-
they could call Mothra.
They were calling Mothra.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
If they could really call
And they were
Mothra,
like 3
I want
inches
some little
tall.
Japanese girls too.
Well, you see, the Japanese knew how to fucking rip shit off. They saw Tinkerbell and they go, "Yeah, we're gonna have 2 of them. Put 2 Tinkerbells.
Two's always better.
2 Tinkerbells. Yeah, that's what they did.
Bee's Nest says you need some man pawns.
What?
Some man pawns, like tampons.
Oh yeah,
Like
yeah,
man
hey,
pawns.
yeah. That's a good one.
That is also a good
Man
one, man.
pawns. Man, you guys are fucking with me earlier.
this show is gonna be a fucking shit show. I can already tell.
We're already fucking. This
Even
show
though,
up.
well, yeah, like I said, even though you guys, it's I guess because we started because of the whole like ice cream licking thing, but that's
Yeah.
like kind of prudent because this is a case where like I said, prior to 1982, they didn't even fucking bother with any of the like tamper-resistant packaging or anything.
Yeah.
So basically, you could just waltz into any grocery store, drugstore, whatever, like open the shit and do whatever the hell you wanted, put it back, and no one would be the wiser. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like it took somebody killing 7 people. Well, actually 7 people in that incident, and then there were a bunch of copycat crimes because people are the worst. So it took that happening before they were like, oh, maybe it's not such a good idea to just leave shit on shelves that you can just open and like piss in or rub your fucking boogery finger in or
Yeah.
whatever. It's like that's what I mean. It's
That's like when I was a kid, man. I always was walking through the malls. You know what I mean? This is like when I was like 10, 12, 13. I was walking through those old retro malls, and I'd see them gumball machines. Okay, and I would go up there and get some fucking candy out of the gumball machines. Right? I saw one time kid was fucking. He was fucking reaching up inside that damn gumball machine and fucking, you know what I mean? Putting his hands in there and pulled it out. And he put all them gumballs and shit and candy, the jelly beans. Put that shit in his pocket, was eating some of them like that. And I was watching, I was going, man, those fucking those jelly beans look good. I was probably, I was a little kid when I
You must have been a little
I was
kid.
probably like 10, I guess. Those jelly beans look pretty good. And that little kid picked his nose after that shit. Oh. And I went, oh. And I couldn't.
You still remember it to this day.
Yeah, I remember to this day, and I could never get any more candy out of those damn little.
Well, see,
gumball
don't we
machines.
always say whenever we watch the dead mall
Yeah,
videos,
like who's been digging in?
like
it?
who's been like well
Yeah.
because a lot of the dead malls there's nobody in there but they
Yeah.
still have like all those little like
Candy ball machines,
yeah the gumball machines and
Yeah.
shit like that like in the middle like concourse and
Yeah,
it's
they
like
zoom in on the candy, and some of that shit's color faded.
and it's like how long has
Yeah,
that
fuck,
been in
like,
there?
How long's that been in there?
Because it's like nobody goes in there, and like of the people that go in there, I imagine a tiny percentage would actually get a gumball.
Here's something else you haven't considered. How do they keep the roaches out of that?
I don't imagine that they do.
You can't keep a German cockroach out of shit.
You cannot, because they can squish out of like flat,
anything, which tells me
like a piece of paper.
Every now and then roaches get in them things. Then you eat.
Oh, I'm sure it's more than every now and then. Well, that's why I don't go in there and get them. Well, I don't really like gumballs anyway, so it's just kind of like I'm kind of lucky in that regard. I don't want anything that's like fucking loose like that. God damn.
I know.
I wanted a fucking package. I'm not a savage. So
they're in there saying they can't get the image of my balls out of there. Tila's still thinking about my testicles. It's all right, Tila. It'll pass.
She's gonna have nightmares about your testicles now.
Yeah. Wondering what color they are and shit.
Wondering what color they are.
Yeah.
They're mauve.
What color is that?
It's like a lavendery, purpley kind of color.
I don't think they're that color.
They're chartreuse.
Chartreuse. You're making shit up, man.
I know.
Making shit up. Stop it.
I know, this is terrible. Like I said, we're talking about
we're
talking about a fucking tragic case right here, goddammit.
We gotta stop it.
I know. We're so disrespectful.
Gotta stop that shit.
Beesnat says, lick Michael Jackson's balls, Tom's has glitter on them.
Man, stop making shit up about my balls, man. Man gets very sensitive,
brought it up.
Very protective about his balls.
You brought it up.
It was just in the heat of the moment, man. I was thinking chocolate chip cookies and how would I sabotage somebody's chocolate chip cookies. I don't need to explain myself. I don't need to explain my thought process. I say whatever comes out of my mouth.
You do.
Just say whatever comes out of my mouth.
Zach says, what I'm amazed by is how the gum was the same flavor, but the color made your mind trick you into thinking it was something else.
Yeah, I think so. I think you're right.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, because... I mean, the way something looks and the way something smells, like, goes a long way to, like, kind of tricking your brain into, like, changing
the ones that would tempt me, though, was, like, the Mike and Ike's. You know what I mean? They had things that were like Mike and Ike's in the damn machine.
Right, yeah.
I don't think it said Mike and Ike on them. Maybe it did.
They were, like, the off-brand, or, like Good and Plenty's or something.
And I'm looking at those things, and I love those candies, but I'm looking at them in those machines. Every time I pass by, I look at those. And their color is always off. Like they've been sun-bleached.
Yeah, because they've been in there
forever.
5 years or 10 years or however long that mall's been dead.
It makes you wonder, like, in the center, is there like a fucking ant's nest in the center of them? Or a fucking nest of roaches in the middle living in them? You know, just...
That's quite an image.
Yeah.
I'm not that bothered because I don't ever eat anything out of those because I'm not a dummy.
Another one that used to bother me when I was living in Mississippi was you could go to the little dime stores and up on the counter there was two big old jars. One of them had pickled eggs. The other one had pickled pig's feet.
Yeah, we had a 7-Eleven next door to my grandma's house had that.
You'd look down at the bottom of the pig's feet one, man, and you're thinking, how long ago did that pig die? You know what I'm talking about?
But they're pickled, so they're
pickled, but you know what I mean. You're thinking like that.
I'm not gonna eat that either.
That pig should be dead and long gone and rotten, and you're gonna eat that foot. And it's a foot. It's a trotter.
Yeah.
That's the classy word for it. A trotter, because they trot around.
Which doesn't sound much better.
No, but they're trotting around in like pig shit in them. You know what I mean?
Trotter sounds grosser to me than feet.
Yeah, my dad used to eat the shit out of them.
Yeah, my grandma liked
They're just fucking bone, though. That's old. That's
old
school,
Southerner stuff.
Old school Southern shit.
Like I said.
Like putting your damn peanuts in Coca-Cola and stuff.
Yeah, that's also
peanuts in Pepsi.
Yeah.
The salt and all. And my dad was doing it. I said, what'd you do that for? I used to do it when I was a kid. I said, why are you doing it now? Because I used to do it when I was a kid.
I said, that's the only answer you need.
Why'd you do it back then? Because it was cheap. And it's like, all right.
Just because it was there?
It's like
you just eat anything that was like, whether it was like stinky gumballs in like some mall or whether it was just like some random, like if you found a sandwich like just sitting on the side of the road, you just pick it up and eat it because there it is.
You go
it's
to Ward's,
free.
you go to Ward's and you go to Ward's and you get that fucking sausage biscuit sandwich and you put the grape jelly and the hot sauce on it and the Tabasco on it because it's free.
Because it's free. You used to do that Waffle House when we used to go to Waffle House.
She asked me why I do this. It's because it's free.
Because it's free.
Yeah.
Because they had the hot sauce and the jelly and everything right there. He's like, you might as well just like take advantage and put it all on there.
But I let you have some of it. It's good.
Well, I'm not a big fan of hot sauce. Well, actually, my stomach is not a real big fan of hot sauce. Let's say that.
I put grape jelly on anything.
Yeah, I get that.
Grape jelly on anything, yeah.
Grape jelly's good.
Grape jelly on meatloaf.
Yeah.
Apricot jelly on meatloaf. Yeah.
I like it sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of times I just like, if you're going to eat meatloaf, like the one you made the other day, it was good with just ketchup on it.
Yeah.
But it was good with the apricot jelly on it, too. Or the jam or whatever.
It's a southern thing.
Yeah. We like sweet meat.
Yeah. If it's a southern thing, it might be a black thing, too. It might be the same thing.
It probably is, because I do feel like we stole a lot of our food from the African
They showed us how to do it.
They did.
Yeah.
Because we didn't know what the fuck we were doing. Obviously.
No, it's just...
So they were just kind of... We were kind of like, oh, we're going to steal y'all's food because it's way better.
No, all that shit came from back in the day. And, you know, white people didn't deep fry. That's an African invention.
Yeah.
And when you start deep frying food, that opens up a whole new fucking possibility.
It really does, because deep
frying chicken and deep frying
the best thing ever.
Deep frying fucking country steak. You're fucking pounding the steaks out and deep frying it. Frying okra. Try to boil okra. It just turns into slime.
Yeah, it's yucky.
If you fucking deep fry it,
then it's delicious.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Fucking right.
Everything deep fried is delicious.
Yeah.
It's not good for you anymore, but that's okay.
No.
At least it tastes good.
That's revenge on us. They killed us with fucking diabetes and damn.
See, they're playing the long game.
Yeah, and the Indians showed us how to smoke. That's vengeance too.
Again, long game.
Yeah, they were playing the long game.
I see what you did there.
Carbohydrates.
Respect.
Yeah.
All right.
Gotta get back to the show.
So we're gonna actually talk about like some murders. Okay.
Yeah. Intro is over. Did you have any shout outs?
I did. That's what I was just going to say.
Right.
I actually do have a couple of shout outs. We have a new patron this week, James H. So, hey, thank you for coming along and being our patron. We always could use more patrons. So, you know, you told me that you had to do more patron plugs.
Yeah, that's right.
So don't forget. That's your job.
Tina said hot sauce on popcorn is great.
I've heard that.
Yeah, it might be good.
I've heard that. Yeah, you can put pretty much anything on popcorn, like any kind of like spice mix or anything like that.
Yeah.
What about curry powder on popcorn would taste like?
Yeah, Tila's black. She's saying deep fried pickles, cranberry
Oh, deep
sauce
fried
is good.
pickles are the fucking best.
What's funny, Tila, is that cranberry sauce it's popular in the South also. It's popular with, you know, like I said, in the South, Southern food is black people food. We all eat the same thing, basically. People from up north would freak out over the shit that we would eat. But cranberry sauce, actually, that's not Southern and that's not African. That's British. I think the British were into that. Am I right?
I can't remember, actually.
I thought that was a British thing.
Although cranberries grow in, like, bogs.
Yeah.
You know? So I'm not really sure,
I might
where
be
they...
totally wrong, but I thought that was, like, one of the few, like, European things that they had that had berries. Maybe I'm wrong.
It could be. I'm not real sure.
I was pretty good with my culinary history. I thought cranberry was
you
British.
could be right.
I think it's British.
I just can't remember offhand.
I don't think it's American, but I might be wrong. I think it was transplanted here.
Yeah, see, Michael Schaefer's deep fried broccoli. Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Bee's Nest collard greens with bacon grease. Yeah, everything is better with the addition of bacon grease.
I think what's funny is I think deep frying actually, in Japan they call that tempura. They'll batter it and deep fry it. I don't think that's native to Japan. I think they got that from us. And we got it from the Africans.
Now I'm going to have to look up the history of tempura.
If I remember correctly...
I'm fascinated by food history. We should do a whole fucking show on it. Well, I guess we kind of are.
I could be wrong, but I think I remember that they got it from us, which would mean Southerners, which would mean Africans.
Yeah. Because
they gave it to us. So that's funny how a good idea can travel across the fucking world.
Maria said cranberries grow in North American bogs. Most are produced in Wisconsin.
All right. And I must be wrong one now. Check on tempura for me,
because cranberry is like such an integral part of Thanksgiving that I figured it must be like an American thing. Because most of the food that's Thanksgiving adjacent, like turkeys and corn and all that kind of stuff, is kind of like North, South, Central American stuff.
Yeah, check on tempura for me, people. I think tempura is African by way of America, I think.
Yeah.
I think it is.
Oracle says all these shows end up being about food. They do.
Yeah, I know. I know.
We said it's like you'd think that we just like sit around eating all the time. We
Yeah.
don't. But it's like, but I guess that's kind of why, because we're like, man, I wish I could eat all these things, except I'd weigh 400 pounds. But it's like, so we just have to like talk about it. It's
Yeah,
like
man.
food porn,
Badger's in there talking about fucking curry popcorn.
See, that's what I said.
Tablespoon
That's I feel like that would
curry
be good.
popcorn.
Like curry powder, like on popcorn, would probably be really good.
I think I'd have to add some sugar to that, make that like a sweet curry, though. I don't know. I just have to try. I have to see. What
I've
it
had
is.
like twice fried like French fries with like curry ketchup on them, and that was fucking delicious. Yeah.
I've never had a curry ketchup.
And
That's a British thing.
Curried mayonnaise.
Yeah.
They put curry and mayonnaise and stuff like that. Yeah, it's good. But yeah, so
Now
and
everybody's hungry.
I know.
Tempura originated with the Portuguese.
Oh, okay.
But the thing
interesting.
is, though, is I bet you the Portuguese got that from Africans.
Maybe there was a lot of
Yeah.
trade.
Right. The Portuguese were an offshoot of the Spanish, and the Spanish Empire had access to Africa, and you know what I mean. They also had access to Central and South America. You know, people forget. You know, we're kind of like products of the fucking British Empire, me and Jenny. So we see things from the perspective of the English speaking world. Spain kicked ass too. They had a huge empire. They were everywhere.
They did, yeah.
So I guarantee you, deep frying, the Spaniards got that from fucking Africa. They didn't come up with that. That deep frying is not a European thing.
Yeah, I don't think it
No.
is actually.
No.
I mean, like I said, it's, you know, as with anything like culinary, it's like I'm sure somebody like somewhere like thought of it like in other parts of the world, but whether it's like spread and everything
Portuguese
like that,
saw
that's,
that.
like,
They saw that, or they had
they're
black
like, "Ooh,
cooks that
that's a
made
good
that
idea."
for them. They may have had African cooks that made that for them, and that's where the idea came from. The
and they were
Japanese
like, this
picked it
is
up
the
from
most
them.
delicious thing ever, which it is.
Almost all my studies of culinary history, you trace deep frying back to Africa. That's how, and it was common in Africa. Deep fat frying. You guys can look it up. I don't think that just didn't happen in Europe until contact with Africa.
Yeah.
It must have been late because there was contacts with Africa with ancient Rome, and Romans don't ever mention deep frying. So I guess the Africans figured that out kind of around the same time they taught us how to do it. It must not have been that old.
For which the world should be eternally grateful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because deep frying
You deep
makes
fry anything, it gets
everything better.
Yeah.
It makes everything better.
Everything is better. It's a good idea.
It makes everything less healthy, but it
Yeah.
makes everything taste better. I don't care what it is.
Well, you're rendering meat,
Yeah.
all right? And the fat that comes off that meat, there's no reason to throw that away.
Well, yeah, it's a waste.
So you just save it, and
Yeah.
then you just keep reheating it, and you cook stuff in there. And then you can come up with all the weird things you can put on the meat when you cook it in that hot oil. And then you're getting nutrition from it instead of just throwing it away. So you're making that animal last longer. So it's practical.
Yeah.
And it's just a good idea. And it just tastes good.
Yeah.
And then you get some crazy white motherfucker want to cook the shit in motor oil. Like I told you that story. We're going to move on now.
And then we start like every Thanksgiving, you always got some people like cooking an entire turkey.
Yeah.
Like deep frying, which I've heard is delicious. I haven't done it yet.
Actually, you have a duck inside a chicken, or a chicken inside of a duck inside of a turkey, a turducken.
Yeah, it's a turducken.
Turducken. Yeah.
I've
Okay,
never tried a turducken.
This is becoming a food show. We got
It
to
is,
get
yeah.
this one.
We should do, like I said, we should just do a whole show on food.
We're
And
probably
like,
an hour into the show, though.
No, we're just at well, actually, I was going to say 37 minutes, but it's actually just 27 minutes because
Okay.
10 minutes of it was like the starting soon thing. Also, I want to say if you are a patron and you haven't voted in the poll yet for the movie retrospective, we're going to do the day before Halloween, and the topic we're going to do for the Halloween special, then get over there and vote on that stuff. Although the topic, it looks like one of them is like the clear forerunner. I mean, you have until tomorrow at noon Eastern Standard Time to vote, but it looks like one thing is going to win, and so I'm already like so I'm not sure what movie's going to win yet because there's a couple that are kind of like close. Also, because Halloween week is coming up and I'm very, very excited about it. So like starting tomorrow, all the matinee shows are going to be newer Halloween themed movies. So we've already watched a couple. We're going to review one tomorrow. We're going to review on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And then the Witching Hour show on Thursday is going to be kind of like Halloween related. And then we'll see whatever the movie retrospective comes up as, because that's going to be like the voted thing. But the ones that I put in the poll are like all Halloween related movies. So let's talk about the Chicago Tylenol murders. Now, as I said, this happened in 1982, and prior to 1982, there was actually no regulation, no rule, no anything that said that if you had a drug, food, packaging, anything, that you had to have it so people couldn't fuck with it. Like, there was no such thing really as like tamper-resistant packaging.
Well, there wasn't a problem. People had respect for shit usually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although I feel like, I don't know, maybe shit happened, but like it wasn't widespread enough, or I don't know what it was.
When I was a kid, the only thing that I noticed unusual about packaging is that some things like medicine were childproof lids.
Yeah, like you had to like push them down and then like.
Yeah, I couldn't get them open. I was trying to get into the damn Flintstone.
Well, yeah, because
vitamins.
they're. Because you were, I'm gonna OD on Flintstone.
I'm gonna eat all them Flintstone vitamins.
I remember.
When I was a kid, remember those?
Yeah.
Why
would you want to eat all of them? They tasted
fucking good. I love
them.
Man, I was a little kid. You know what I mean? I was like, Mom, I want the Fred Flintstone. I want the
They tasted kind of. You know what the smell of them. The smell of them reminded me of. You remember that? I don't know if they still make it, but that Tetramin fish food.
Yeah. No, they did not taste like that.
They smelled like that. They smelled like.
Tastes like sweet tarts with less sugar.
I don't like sweet tarts.
I loved them. They were kind of sour.
Yeah.
I got into the medicine cabinet and I said, I'm going to eat all these Flintstone vitamins.
What would happen to you if you ate a whole bottle of Flintstone vitamins? Probably nothing.
Stomach would
you might get kind of sick, but I don't think it would
kill you.
Your
stomach sour? No.
Oh, man. No, I'm going to look that up after the show. What would happen if you ate a whole...
That was bad. I'd climb on top of the damn refrigerator trying to eat my mom's diet chocolates and shit. Remember those things they called them AIDS?
They were called AIDS.
AIDS, yeah. They're like
AIDS.
Yeah, and they were little square chocolate things. They're fucking terrible, man. I mean, they're trying to eat a bunch of them and shit. I'm like, ugh.
Wait, okay, so they were supposed to be like a diet aid. Were they laxatives?
No, I think they were kind of like a little protein bar.
Okay.
I think. And they were supposed to be like an appetite suppressor.
There were some laxatives that were like chocolate, right, though?
Yeah, but it wasn't that. Yeah, that was X-Lax.
Because wasn't... there you go. Because I feel like there was a lot of people would joke and they'd be like, switch out your chocolate with X-Lax and it'd like make you poop yourself.
Real chewy, and they didn't have a good... The flavor was shitty. But they looked like chocolate. And I'd get up there and try to eat the whole fucking box of them. And then get unsatisfied. And then I'd fucking get the sugar jar and fucking... take a couple teaspoons of sugar and just eat that. And then I found the sugar numbers that you put on top of birthday cakes. You know how you put on a birthday cake, you have like a 1 and a 5.
Yeah.
They're like 3-inch tall numbers.
Yeah.
I tried to eat those.
They do look delicious.
Yeah, they were terrible.
The wax.
They were terrible, but I got about halfway through. It didn't make any sense when you're a boy. Boys don't make any sense. This isn't that good. You give it to your friend. Try that. Yeah, that's not too good.
It looks good, but it's like it's not.
It'd be like we try to eat candles.
Well, I get that because candles do actually, and especially like because they made a lot of candles and they smell nice too.
Try to eat candles.
So they look like you can eat them.
Like, should be good, but it's not.
They don't really taste like much of anything unless they're scented, and then they taste kind of chemically.
And it's not like we were starving or hungry or anything. It's just little boy's about like a dog or a monkey.
Yeah,
until you get to a certain
Right.
age.
I know, I have brothers, but that's the thing. It's like it's just funny to me because now the whole time you were saying that, I had this like mental image of like little baby Tom, and he's just like climbing all over the kitchen, all over everything, just eating everything that wasn't nailed down.
Yeah, and he's eating shit you're not supposed to eat. Eating the fucking birthday cake numbers and shit.
He's like, here's a glass vase. What does this taste like? You can't even. Everybody's like, your mom had to like hide all the fucking food.
I'm sure there's a lot of guys in there that know what I'm talking about. I mean, look they're probably doing the same thing.
Little boys just eating everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were eating elementary school paste. Yep, eat that.
Well, yeah, a lot of people ate that
because it smelled. Because of the smell. Yep.
I never ate it, but I knew a couple kids that did.
Yeah.
I was always more fascinated. Like the paste was neat, but I was always kind of more fascinated with the rubber cement. Which smelled awful, but also smelled kind of good. I liked that it was kind of like, ooh, I was like, ooh, it's like snot. Yeah. You know what I mean? I never ate it, though. I didn't want to eat it. All right, so like I said, prior to 1982, for all of you children out there, there was no such thing as really tamper-resistant packaging because I guess everyone was just kind of like, oh, I suppose so. It's like they would just eat food, even if somebody had licked it or put poison in it, as they did in this case, and they didn't really think about it anymore. But this kind of shit, this changed all that. This basically brought in the whole new thing. Like I said, this was the invention of the caplet instead of like the capsule that could be pulled apart. This was like the advent of all the tamper-resistant packaging, the foil, the induction seals, the foils, all that kind of stuff. And also, it's kind of interesting because, and this was also the start of product tampering being a federal offense. Whereas prior to that, it was just kind of like a minor. I don't even know if it was a fucking law before that because they thought nobody would fucking do it.
Wasn't a popular thing to do.
Yeah, it's like, obviously. Yeah. So nobody like thought to make a law about it. So let's go back in time. We'll talk a little bit of a timeline as to what happened. And like I said, this is a fucking terrible, like 7 people died, okay? Like in this one. And like I said, there was some copycat shit later where more people died. So we'll talk about that a little bit too. So September 29th, 1982. There is a 12-year-old girl named Mary Kellerman. And she's from Schaumburg, Illinois. And she wakes up and she's not feeling so good. So her parents are like, okay, well, you stay home from school. And she takes either 1 or 2 Tylenol. I'm imagining it was probably just 1 because I think the kids, 12 and under, they usually tell you to take 1. And then 12 and over, they tell you to take 2. So I don't know. That's the thing. So she takes 1 or 2 Tylenol. And then her dad said, like, she goes back to bed, and then her dad said, I heard her, like, go into the bathroom, and then, like, you know, heard the door close, heard the door lock, whatever, or the door didn't lock, whatever, and then he's like, and then I heard something, like, dropping or falling, so he's like, so I go and, like, knock on the bathroom door, and I'm just like, hey, are you okay in there, and I didn't get any answer, and then finally he goes and opens the bathroom door, and his daughter is just laying there on the floor, like, unconscious, like, in her pajamas. So she gets rushed to the hospital, but she is pronounced dead at 10 a.m. She had taken the pills at, I believe, a little bit before 7 a.m. So she dies. Now, a couple hours later, this is the same day, at noon, there's this guy named Adam Janus, and he was 27 years old. He was a postal worker in Arlington Heights, which was another, like, suburb of Chicago. He also didn't feel very good that day. He thought he was, like, maybe getting a cold or whatever, so he called in sick to work. Now, he goes to pick up his kids from preschool at lunchtime, and while he was, like, out and about, he stopped at a drugstore and got some Tylenol. He came home, he ate lunch with his kids, then he said, I'm going to take a couple Tylenol and I'm going to lay down because I don't feel all that good. So he takes the pills, he goes to lay down, and then a couple minutes later, he comes, like out of the kitchen, like he's obviously in a lot of distress, and he just collapses. So he gets rushed to the hospital. 3:15 p.m. he's pronounced dead, only about 3 hours later. Now, the doctor at first, he wasn't entirely sure what it was. At first he was kind of like made cardiac arrest, but he wasn't real certain about that diagnosis. And he's like, so Adam's whole family was there. He had a wife named Teresa. Adam's parents were at the hospital, and a whole bunch of other people, like his brother and all this other stuff. So after Adam Janus was pronounced dead, his whole family, like, went back to his house. So I'm presuming they're going back there to, like, you know, plan the funeral, to mourn, or whatever it is that they're doing. So they all go back to his house. What are you smirking at?
I'm laughing at what Tila said.
What'd she say?
She said she'd take a peppermint stick and stick it into a damn pickle and fucking suck the juice out through the pickle through the peppermint stick. I was laughing because that shit sounds nasty as fuck, but I used to do the same thing. But I started off doing it with lemons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lemon and peppermint sounds pretty good.
Yeah, that was
actually
really good. That was really good. But I heard of the pickle thing and I tried it. It wasn't as good.
Well, it's like, I can see how, like, it sounds gross at first blush, but then, like, sweet and sour is kind of like, sometimes that can work.
Tila, you're not the originator of the pickle. But how that would happen is you're supposed to do it with a lemon. You could do it with an orange, too, but you're supposed to do it with a lemon. But you run out of lemons. And everybody back in the day had those fucking pickles in a pickle jar.
Yeah.
So it was only a matter of time before somebody tried that. It kind of works, but it's not, a lemon's much better.
Beesnest says, remember Jolly Ranchers in Zima. I remember that. I remember. Do you remember when
Zima
Zima was like a big, huge?
Remember when that was
That
a
was
thing?
the '90s, right?
Yeah.
That was early '90s. I want to say.
Yeah.
Because it was right after I graduated.
Malt liquor that tasted like Sprite. It was good, but they charged too much for it, and the shit was effeminate as fuck.
Well, it's
If
kind
your
of
buddies
it's
saw you
just a
drinking-
trendy thing, just like kind of
Yeah.
like White Claw is now.
Yeah, if your buddies saw you drinking Zima at the fucking bar, you'd never live it down. You know what I mean? It's like you'd been caught flipped gay or something. Oh, you flipped gay on us. Drinking Zima, huh? You know, it's like shit like that.
I told you that the kids in the hall did a
You must
whole
be gay now.
sketch about the girl drink drunk.
Yeah. What's
And he
that?
was just like
Getting
a guy.
drunk on a girl drink?
Yeah, and like really girl drinks, like in the fucking with the umbrellas sticking out of the shit and everything, and he's just like laying around the bar going. Rah, 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 like,
See,
with this big
what
fucking
got
cocktail.
Zima was the advertising campaign.
Yeah,
They had
it
a
was.
dude in a white suit, and he's trying to be sophisticated, and they had the wrong spokesman to sell Zima to men. You know what I'm talking about? Instead, it sold it to kind of like girls and college-age pseudo-intellectuals. That's who's
Well,
gonna
the
buy a
thing
fucking
about
Zima.
it though is that dudes were already a pretty solid like alcohol market. So
Yeah.
I feel like they were trying to expand into
Yeah.
like to get more women to drink, to get more like other types of people to drink.
That was a dumb
You know what
way
I
to-
mean? No, I'm just saying that
Yeah.
that's kind of like the marketing that
They should have had Zima. The fucking spokesman should have been a damn pro wrestler. He should.
Snap
Drink
into it,
Zima.
Zima.
Smack a bitch upside the head. Drop your balls on the motherfucker. Zima. You know, it should have been like that. And then that's what it should have been. And they'd have sold a lot of it. And it shouldn't have had a sophisticated packaging. You know what I mean? It should have just been like a fist. Fist coming at you with a penis underneath it. Bam. Like a dick head. Crooked. And it's got to be crooked, not straight. It's crooked when coming at you. Gnarly, nasty, and crooked. And with a fist. That's what it should have been.
Do you guys remember, this was probably very short-lived, but I think this was, God, this must have been like early 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s. There was, I don't think it was alcoholic, I think it was bottled water or some kind of...
I knew that. I knew Tila was gonna laugh at that shit.
or it was some kind of like flavored bottled water or something. And it came in this really nice, like blue bottle, and it was ribbed for her pleasure. Let's say that.
Yeah.
Or it kind of looked like it had like little speckles on it. And the bottled water was called Balls.
Yeah.
Ballz. Does anybody remember that? Because I used to work with a guy who would bring it into work all the time.
Everybody's talking about
And I thought the bottle was really nice, actually. It was a nice looking bottle. But it was called
Coca-Cola,
Balls.
Pop Rocks, Skittles.
Yeah.
You guys need to get... All right, stop the fucking food talk. God damn it. This is going to become a food show. We got to get back to the fucking crime.
You're the one that keeps... Like,
I know, it goes sideways. Show goes sideways. It's my fault, people. I'm
It is.
I'm going to take responsibility.
Orbits, I remember. Balls, I do not. Maybe it was regional. Because he was the only person that I saw that had it. He used to, like, bring it into work. And he kept the bottles because he thought they were funny. So he had, like, on the shelf, like, above his computer, there was, like, a whole bunch of these blue bottles that said Balls on them. And like I said, they were textured, the bottles. They had, like, little, like, dimpled, like a golf ball.
Yeah.
Except opposite. So, okay, so Adam Janus has died. His whole family is at the hospital. And when he is pronounced dead, they all go back to his house in Arlington Heights. Now, the same day, half an hour after Adam Janus is pronounced dead, this is at 3:45 p.m., there's this other woman, and her name is Mary Reiner. She's 27 years old. She lives in Winfield, another suburb of Chicago. Now, she hadn't been feeling all that good. She had just given birth to her fourth child. I believe it was only a week or two prior. So same kind of thing. She wasn't feeling good. She took a couple of Tylenol and almost immediately collapsed. Now, again, same day, 5 o'clock in the evening. The Janus family, you know, all the relatives of Adam Janus who had died earlier in the afternoon, they're all at his house and they're like, you know, mourning, planning the funeral, whatever it is that you do after somebody that young, like, dies of what they at the time thought was a cardiac arrest. Now, Adam had a younger brother named Stanley, and Stanley had chronic back pain. So he says to his wife, now this is confusing because Stanley and Adam, their wives were both named Teresa, like one with an H and one without an H, so that's confusing. So he says to his wife, Teresa, hey, go get me some Tylenol or go see if Adam's got any Tylenol. because he was having some back pain. So Stanley takes 2 Tylenol. And then she gives him 2, and then she took 2 herself because I guess she wasn't feeling all that good. And then minutes later, he collapses to the ground. And then a couple minutes after that, she collapses to the ground. So they started having the same symptoms. Now, this is crazy. The doctor that works at the hospital where they take it, his name is Dr. Kim. And he's like, I was getting ready to leave the hospital. It was like 5:30 and it was like the end of his shift. Then the nurse comes in and says, hey, they're bringing the Janus family back. Like, the relatives of the person that died here earlier. And he said, oh, well, is it the guy's parents, because they were older and it's like he assumed that they had some kind of like stress related whatever because of the death. And the nurse says, no, it's the brother who was younger. He was like only 25, I believe. And he's like, so the doctor's like, what the fuck? He's like, I was just talking to this guy earlier and he was like super healthy. He was just like this big buff, healthy dude. And he's like, well, what happened to him? And they said they're doing CPR on him. It looks like he had a cardiac arrest as well. And he's like, and oh, the same shit also happened to the wife. So at this stage, okay, so there's like a nurse and she's like working at the same hospital. She's like, so they're bringing in all these people from the same house. So that raises red flags because obviously when the first girl that died, the 12-year-old girl, Mary Kellerman, that was weird, but they didn't really, there was no pattern. There was no reason. It's like she just kind of killed. There's no reason to think that that she had been poisoned or anything like that. Like, you know what I mean? It's for something like that, you have to have like a pattern established, unfortunately. So they didn't really, and by the time she got to the hospital, I mean, they wouldn't have been able to do anything anyway. But at this stage, since it was like 3 people from the same household now, they're like, okay, well, obviously something weird is going on. So they're like, we need like a public health representative. We need to figure out what it is. It has to be something in the environment that's causing this. So basically what they do, they're like, we go to they go back to the Janus house because they said it's got to be something here that's causing it. So while that's going on, so they all decide, they all like get the doctor, they get the nurse, they get everything, and they go back to the house and start like searching everything to look for anything in the environment that could cause the symptoms that they're seeing. Meanwhile, in another part of Illinois, Lombard, yet another, I think that's another suburb of Chicago, this was 6:30 p.m. There was another woman named Mary McFarland. She was 31. She's at work. And she tells people, hey, I have a headache. She goes into the back, takes a Tylenol, 1 or 2, they don't really know how many. And then minutes later, she also collapses to the floor. Now, they kind of suspected, like her coworkers were kind of like, well, she must have, like, did she eat something bad or something like that? Because they couldn't figure out anything else. So that's going on. 8 p.m., they get like all the investigators, the public health officials, like the doctors and the nurses, they show up at the Janus house and start going through the place. So they're kind of like, the investigator gets there. He's like, I don't know why I thought this, but it's like, I thought that we were just going to like walk into the house and be like, oh, obviously, like that's what's causing it. But it's like, obviously that's not what happened. So they start looking around. Now the nurse Jensen, she's apparently kind of, I mean, according to her and according to some other people, she was kind of the only one that was on the ball. So she goes in the bathroom and starts going through all their fucking shit in their medicine cabinets. And she's like, now, there's nothing weird in there. It was just like regular over-the-counter medications, a couple prescription medications, nothing alarming or anything like that. But, so she's like, it's got to be something in here. Now, one of the investigators did go down to the basement, and they said that there was some metalworking equipment in the basement. Now, in metalworking, I guess sometimes they use cyanide for polishing metal.
Yep.
So that did kind of like ring some alarm bells, because I guess some of the doctors and nurses did say, did kind of come across like cyanide poisoning, like how quickly it came on and everything like that. So like maybe that's what it was, but it's like they couldn't see how like anybody had been contaminated from it.
It's used in old school gun bluing process.
Yeah.
And steel bluing.
It's used in a lot of industrial applications, which a lot of people don't know.
How toxic old school metalwork was.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, some of the new shit that they have out for guns, like fucking nitride and fucking Cerakote, that shit is so good compared to what they used to have back then, man. Dealing with that fucking blue, horse hooves and cyanide, man, that shit was fucking caustic. Same thing with all that chrome plating. That was also caustic. This dude does sound like he has access to metalworking material.
It's possible.
Possible.
I'm not really sure.
Possible. I mean, but that's
But
the easiest way to get it.
But they're just saying that they found a couple things like that, like in the basement of the house of the guy that had died, and like where two of his family members had subsequently died, and they were just kind of like, oh, maybe that had something to do with it. However, at the same time that the nurse was going through all the drugs and shit in the bathroom, she happened to open up the Tylenol container, and she's like, back then, obviously, they didn't have any, like, fucking, there was no seal, it was just cotton in there, and she dumped a bunch of them out and counted the capsules, and she's like, okay, well, there are 6 capsules missing, and there are 3 people dead, 2 capsules each, so she's like, maybe that's what it is. So she's like, so I'm going to take this with me, just in case. So she decides to take it. So like I said, good for her, because she was like fucking on the ball. So while they're at the house looking through the shit, Stanley Janus, the brother of Adam Janus who died earlier, at 8:15, Stanley Janus is pronounced dead. Meanwhile, in another part of town, 9:30 p.m., there's a woman named Paula Prince. She's 35 years old, and she's a flight attendant with United Airlines. Now, she has just come in. She's landed at O'Hare. She was coming from Las Vegas on a flight. And she's had kind of a long day. She feels kind of shitty. She stops at a Walgreens on North Wells Street and buys some Tylenol. 10 p.m., they are kind of like, they get back to the hospital, like all the investigators and the doctor and the nurse and everything. They get back and they do a meeting. And they're like, okay, like what the fuck did we find at this people's house? So Nurse Jensen, she puts the Tylenol bottle on the table. She says, I think it's this. She's like, there were 6 pills missing. 3 people are dead. We can't find anything else in the house. Like the metalworking stuff was suspicious, but it's like there was really no way. There didn't seem to be anything down there that would have like accounted for like 3 people in the same family dying on the same day. So she's kind of like, I think it's this. So she said at first nobody believed her. They're like, it's Tylenol. People take Tylenol all the time. It's fine. Nothing. I mean, nobody thought that someone would have adulterated it. I guess it was just something that didn't occur to them. So they were just kind of like, no, there's just no way.
I still think the metalworking stuff is a good clue. I think whoever poisoned him did have access to that kind of stuff.
Maybe.
That's the easiest way to get cyanide.
Yeah.
If you're in metalworking.
Yeah.
Big Jim used to have it. Remember I told you about Big Jim? I've told stories about Big Jim.
Yeah, I don't remember who that is.
My granddad kind of raised him a little bit. He was a machinist. He worked for the cops and stuff, and he had all kinds of shit like that in his damn metal shop. He could build a gun up build it from the ground up out of nothing by hand.
Yeah.
He'd just make an absolute replica of a Colt 1911 45, make it all by hand.
Yeah.
Fucking yeah, he was fantastic. But he had all that shit. I saw him one time take an eyedropper of some kind of a sulfuric acid and drop it on another guy's hand to burn a wart off of it. And he knew exactly how much of that shit to fucking drop through a damn syringe. It fell on top of this nasty ass wart, and he was gritting his teeth, and it was smoking and popping, and it ate that wart off, leaving a small rounded pock mark. The only thing that was left on that damn finger. I was fucking amazed.
That's crazy.
Yeah, he knew exactly how much to drop on there. That was the dude that would drink the fucking hydrogen peroxide.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah,
okay.
he's the same one. He had all them fucking chemicals and shit.
Well, like I said, hydrogen peroxide, they do tell you can like use it as mouthwash, but I never heard of anybody drinking it.
He'd drop it in
or dropping it in your ear.
He would drop it into distilled water at a certain dosage and drink it. And he said that it helped helped to oxygenate your blood. That it made transmission of oxygen into the red blood cells easier. That was his theory.
Yeah, I don't think that's how it
He
works.
lived a long time though, man, and he died.
But that could be like lots of things.
Yeah. He lived a long time.
You don't have a control sample, so there's no way of knowing.
He just theorized it. I guess he knew about chemistry, He said he'd feel better, so he'd drink some of that. And crazy fucking Mississippi machinist guy. Died in his sleep in his 80s.
Must be nice.
Yeah, just died in his sleep. Didn't wake up.
Yeah.
Jim. He knew my granddad.
Big Jim.
So he let me come in the shop all the time, fuck around.
Michael Schaefer said, good thing it wasn't a penis wart. Yeah, I don't know if anybody'd like want...
No, it wasn't a penis wart.
I don't think anybody would let
It's
you.
on the outside of his index finger right here, and he fucking dropped it on there, and that sucker, he's holding it like that, and I'm watching it, and he's got his hand fucking on that desk going, and it's going, I can hear it popping, pop, pop, and it's smoke coming out of it and everything. And he goes, and Jim would be like, that should have been the perfect amount. It'll eat that down, and you'll see, there it goes. It's gone. All right, that's it. You'd be like that. You're good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, Sheila said my dad gargled with it, baking soda toothpaste. Yeah. That's like, they do tell you can gargle with it. It's supposed to be good for your mouth, but I never heard of anybody like that.
Now, he drank hydrogen peroxide out of distilled water, and it was a special kind of hydrogen peroxide, too. It wasn't like what you got from the, from the grocery store. It was stuff you got from a chemical plant.
Yeah.
It was a lot more concentrated. Because I think it's mostly in water. When you buy it, you know what I mean? If you buy it at the fucking pharmacy,
yeah,
I think it's mostly water. This was the real shit. It came
well,
in a
yeah,
glass
I mean,
bottle.
the peroxide you buy at the grocery store is
diluted.
99% water.
Yeah, this was the pure shit. He said it would fucking put a lot of pep in your step.
Oh, I'll bet.
So it had some kind of effect on him.
Victor said in the early days of the HIV pandemic, they would drink peroxide to oxygenate the blood and kill the virus. It didn't work.
It didn't work, yeah.
No. I imagine it didn't work. Don't drink shit that just somebody on YouTube told you to drink. Seriously, no. I mean, I shouldn't have to tell you guys that, but
from
know,
my observation,
you never know.
From my observation, Jim had a reaction to it. Now, looking back on it, I was kind of a kid. I was this is even before I was in the Army, so I must have been about 17, 18, 19, probably about 18, 19 when this was going on. He said it gave you more energy, so were you getting kind of high off of it maybe?
Or was that just like a placebo effect?
I don't know.
You don't really know.
No way to tell him.
Because a lot of drugs work because of like a placebo effect. Because you're like, I took something, so it will make me feel better. Or, you know what I mean? Because a lot of it is like what your perception is of how
he swore by it.
Well, yeah, but anecdotes are not data.
Yeah.
That's the first thing they teach you in any critical thinking class. Well, maybe one of the first things they teach you.
He loved fucking conspiracy theories too. He loved that shit.
Well, see, that makes me even more suspicious.
He loved all that shit. He was pre-internet conspiracy theories. He told me all kinds of wild shit.
Well, yeah, they had conspiracy theories before
there
was the internet. Now they're just like much easier to disseminate, unfortunately.
That's a whole other show in itself, though. Fucking Big Jim's conspiracy theories. You guys should fucking allow that.
That just, but, you know what? I just thought of like a really cool shirt design. It looked like a old fashioned, like those old timey like Victorian like snake oil, like the labels, like, you know what I mean? I could have one that looks like that, but it says like Big Jim's conspiracy theory, fucking whatever.
Although, man, I tell you what, man, some of his shit was kind of true. He's talking about, like he was big into that Federal Reserve Act. He was saying, they passed it on Christmas, you know what I mean? To try to get it through the Senate and everything. I thought that was bullshit. Turns out that part was true. He was talking about big banking cartels and the Federal Reserve Bank, and he knew about all this shit going back to the 50s, 50s, 60s, 70s, so he kind of grew up with all that shit. But some of that shit that he said was true. But, hey, man, call shit a conspiracy. Fine, go ahead.
Big Jim's conspiracy juice.
Yeah.
I'm seeing it. I'm seeing a fucking shirt right now.
Yeah. Now, he would pull out the Bible and start going into fucking Revelations.
See,
and shit.
Again.
He would. He was taking a little bit from everywhere.
You're not
he was taking a little bit from
your case when you do stuff like that. You're just really
he was
not.
What they call a country wit. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know. I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
I had some relatives like
he
that
was
as well.
He was a country wit. All right. he was somebody that you met in a rural area who had an above average intelligence, but they're in a pre-internet, low information society, and the imagination can kind of run wild. He wouldn't have, the modern era would have changed his thinking probably a lot. You know what I mean? But that was it. This was in a time when it was hard to find information. You remember what it was like.
Yeah, I know.
So Yeah, let's go ahead on back to the show.
Well, Sheila said, my mom gave us flat ginger ale when we were sick. Yeah, but mine too, because ginger does tend to like settle your stomach down a little bit. Like it's good for nausea. That's all it's for. Yeah. It's not curing anything. It just like makes you feel a little less nauseous. But yeah, so like I said, Nurse Jensen has said, like, I think it's the Tylenol. The other doctors were kind of like reluctant. They're like, you know, how would they be getting it from that? But it happened that some enterprising and prescient person that had investigated the very first murder, which was a 12-year-old girl, had actually taken the Tylenol bottle from their house. Just because I guess it was the last thing that the girl had ingested, so they thought, you know, they took it like for the crime scene. So it was actually at the hospital, or it was actually like in, you know, police custody or whatever, and they could look at it. So they had it brought to...
Hold on 1 second. Filthy Gardner in quotation marks says, fucking above average IQ. Yeah, you gotta understand the average IQ is like 100. That's pretty fucking dumb, alright? He was probably about 140 IQ. He was smart. Just like I said, he was in his 60s, you know, 70s, in the 80s. You know what I mean? That was that generation, and late 80s, early 90s. And they just did not have the modern information flow. Internet has changed a lot. It's so much easier to research. Back in those days, you had to check out books, and you could only get the books that were in your library or things that you could order, and ordering shit was a fucking pain in the ass back then. It wasn't like they had Amazon. So knowledge was a lot harder to come by. All right. So I do defend Jim on that level. He was intelligent. It's just that he didn't have access to all the information.
Well, and I mean, I'm not sure access to information, because now we have access to all the information, but that means that you also have access to a bunch of bullshit information. So it's much easier to, like, it's easier to find good information, but it's also much easier to find bad information too. So in that way, it's kind of like a double-edged sword. I would not go back though, because there was shitty information back then too. It was just like harder to get any information.
I'm just gonna go ahead and quote fucking Obi-Wan Kenobi. Many of the truths we cling to depend upon a certain point of view. There's enough information out there to construct your own series of events, your own interpretation of history. You know, like the Islamic interpretation of history is very different, you know what I mean, than the Western interpretation of history. Same thing with the Chinese. You can construct a narrative out of what's out there. You got to look at it that way, you know. And it doesn't necessarily mean that version of history is false. It's just history from another perspective with a different value system.
Yeah.
Because other civilizations and other cultures have different value systems. So I'm kind of fair when it comes to that. I'm not into the solely Western liberal democracy style perspective to things, because they're full of shit too. You know what I mean? It depends on how you look at things. That's all I'm gonna say.
All right, so Where was I? Okay, so the nurse thought it was the Tylenol. Like, the doctors at first didn't believe her, but then they started talking about cyanide, and they were like, yeah, the shit does kind of sound like cyanide, but Dr. Kim was kind of like, yeah, but where'd they get it from? And all this other stuff. So they're like, maybe we should check the victim's blood. It's like, we've never done that before. Our hospital doesn't have the facilities to do that. So, but he found out that there was like another hospital like close by or another lab close by where they could send the blood. So he's like, okay, well, let's do that. Now, interestingly, the Tylenol bottle that they took from the Janus household and the Tylenol bottle that was taken from Mary Kellerman's house, like she was the first victim, the 12-year-old girl, one of the cops noticed that both of these Tylenol bottles had the same control number on them, MC2880. So it was like the same lot number. So they thought that was like a little suspicious. So the medical examiner says to the guy, he's like, okay, well, open the pill bottles and smell them. What do you smell? So the investigator opened the bottles and dumped them out. He's like, everything looked completely normal. However, when I smelled it, there was a really strong smell of almonds. And the other bottle, same kind of thing. He's like, I opened it and it smelled just like almonds. So he told the medical examiner this, and everybody said cyanide. Now, interestingly, and I actually did not know this until I started researching this case, because if you've read any murder mysteries at all or know anything about true crime, anytime somebody says bitter almonds, you always say like, oh, cyanide, because that's what it smells like. However, what I didn't know was that only about half of the population can smell cyanide. I didn't know that like the other half, apparently they don't have that gene.
Weird, yeah.
I just thought everybody could smell it, that's what it smelled like. That's what I assumed.
Well, that goes like cilantro.
Yeah, it's kind of like that.
Yeah.
So
some people, I love cilantro, and other people, they
it tastes like soap to them. Yeah. But that it's like a gene. It's like a weird little gene mutation.
I can fucking put fresh cilantro in my mouth and start chewing and think soap and say, yeah, it kind of does taste like soap. But it doesn't. It tastes good.
To me, it doesn't taste or smell anything
I
like
can
soap.
kind of see where they're coming from, but it's not the same. But it is close.
Although, like I've mentioned this on the show before, like mango to me tastes like perfume.
It does to me too, but it tastes good.
Yeah, to me it just tastes like chemically like perfume.
Okay, no, not.
But I can have things like I said, because like the Indian restaurant we used to go to sometimes like makes mango ice cream in house, and that's delicious.
Yeah,
that doesn't taste anything like perfume.
Okay, well,
but a regular, like if I just eat like a mango, like in a fresh mango, it smells and tastes just like chemical perfume.
Okay, you know how that ice cream tastes? To me, a real mango tastes like that, just like that, but with peach. That's the way a real mango tastes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, it doesn't taste like that.
Like if you took that and peach and put it together. That's the way it tastes.
Yeah, I wish it tasted like that to me.
But to you, it just tastes like...
Yeah, it tastes like a chemical
weird.
perfume.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
No, it's like peach with a slight rose hint.
Yeah.
That's what it tastes like.
Not to me.
Okay.
That's really weird, though. But yeah, like you said, cilantro. But like I said, I didn't realize that only half the population, apparently... Yeah. I think between 40 and 60% somewhere, can actually smell cyanide as almonds. So they said they were really lucky, like that this investigator on the case, Investigator Pichos, I think his name was actually able to tell, because as soon as he opened the bottles and like dumped the shit out, he's like, oh my God, it smells like almonds. So everybody said cyanide. So basically, how cyanide works, this is really horrifying. So cyanide, it's basically an asphyxiant, okay? Yeah. It blocks oxygen getting to your red blood cells. So it's like you can be in a room with plentiful oxygen, like a regular room, and yet you will still suffocate. So it is like a really, really horrible, painful way to die. And it happens like very, very quickly, obviously, because these people like took a Tylenol and then like minutes later they collapsed on the ground and started like fucking having convulsions and shit like that. And, they were dead within like an hour or two. So, so you have cardiac arrest, you have brain damage. It's very, very fast. So Thursday, September 30th. So Dr. Kim gets the lab reports back on those blood tests, because he had taken like the blood from some of the victims that had died and had sent it out to another lab. And they get the lab reports back very early in the morning of September 30th. And they say that this was a massive amount of cyanide. They said it was from 100 to 1,000 times more than was necessary to kill a person. So this was just like a lot in these fucking things. So that same morning, 3:15 a.m., Mary McFarland, who had been brought in earlier, she was also pronounced dead at a hospital in Downers Grove. And later that same morning, 9:30 a.m., Mary Reiner is also pronounced dead. So at this stage, because they have figured out that there is cyanide in the Tylenol, the first thing that they think is this is like, a manufacturing error, like some like cyanide has fallen into the powder somehow and like gotten inside of the capsules. At first, they were not thinking that it was just some crazy person just like putting cyanide in the capsules. They were thinking that this was some kind of accident that had happened at one of the plants, right? So that morning, they get like an attorney from Johnson & Johnson who manufactured Tylenol. He shows up at the office of the medical examiner. And so they had to explain to him what was going on. And he's like, the ME is like, look, like we found cyanide in the tablets. We have to release this to the public because this is a public health issue. It's like we don't know how much more of it is out there. And we don't want anybody taking it. So we have to announce it. And obviously the dude from Johnson & Johnson was like, do we really have to do this? And like the guy was like, yes, we have to, because otherwise more people will die. So he's like, okay, fine. So they have to have a press conference. So they basically have a press conference, and they have to tell everybody in the area, Chicago, all the outlying areas, that it's like, look, if you have any Tylenol, please don't take any more, because they think that something happened with the manufacturing process. Maybe some cyanide somehow got into the, powder, like inside the capsules. So please don't take them. We have to warn the community about it. So basically then the nurse that first figured out that it was probably the Tylenol caplets that had caused the shit, she says to the cops, she's like, look, we have to get all the Tylenol in this area off the shelves. The cops said, I don't think we can do that. And she's like, we have to do that because we don't know how much more of it is out there. So at this stage, they were just kind of like, okay, fine, we got to do that. The police contact Johnson & Johnson. And to their credit, Johnson & Johnson were that very same day at 3 p.m. And this was September 30th, only a couple of days after the first death, or actually only the next day, actually. They said, okay, we're recalling all of the Tylenol from that lot. Because at that time, they just thought it was that one lot that was poisoned. So they said that as that day went on, people kept calling, because people were like freaking out. Like once they announced it to the public, I mean, as you would. So people are, the dudes are like, people are calling me and being like, oh my God, I took Tylenol like yesterday and am I going to die? They're like, look, if you're still talking to me right now, you're not going to die. It's like, if you were going to die, it would have happened immediately. So you're probably fine. Just don't take anymore. So that same day, they get Teresa Janus, who was the wife of Stanley Janus, who had died earlier. She had been on life support this entire time. They knew that she was not going to recover, so they took her off life support and pronounced her dead. 5 p.m., the police discover the body of Paula Prince, who had died the day prior, but no one had known, they didn't know because one of her friends, I think she was supposed to have dinner or something with her sister, and she never turned up, and nobody could get in touch with her. So they called the cops for a welfare check, and then they found her in her house, and they found the bottle of Tylenol, assumed that she had taken some, and that she was another victim of it. So at this point, so they go on TV, and they have the press conference, and then they release, they find security camera footage. This is what you were talking about earlier.
Yeah, I saw this. It's been so long since I've seen this footage, though. I thought he was kneeling down and loading him up down into a shelf. I don't think he was kneeling. I think he was just behind. But it's been a long time since I've seen, because I've just seen a couple of still photos, in the... Yeah, the resolution is shit. I mean, it was...
Well, it's 1982. What
it's 82, and it's probably a 70s goddamn camera. You couldn't see shit, You know how it was back then.
Yeah. So it turns out that the Walgreens that Paula Prince, she was the flight attendant, the Walgreens that she had been buying the Tylenol from, they caught her on camera, buying the Tylenol, and they saw, a bearded dude, behind her, kind of he looked like he was, kind of fucking with the tablets or whatever, so they thought that maybe this was a suspect. They don't know if that was the guy that did it or whatever, but they said he was behind her, and so they presumed this is a suspect, so they kind of released that to the public as well. Now, one thing that they did figure out later on was that whoever did this, because like I said, initially they were thinking that it was something that happened at the manufacturing process. But as the investigation went on, and they determined, because the first 2 Tylenol bottles that they brought in and they tested actually did happen to have the same lot number on them. But as the investigation continued, there were more deaths. Those Tylenol bottles were from different lot numbers and had been manufactured at different facilities. So they're like, okay, well, it's very unlikely that this happened at the manufacturing level, because
somebody came in there and planted those bottles.
Yeah, so they're assuming at this point, after they had figured that out, after they had collected all the Tylenol bottles from the deaths, they're like, what must have happened was that this must be an individual or individuals who are going to the point of purchase and are taking the Tylenol. They're taking it off the shelf, they're stealing it, or they're buying it, and then putting cyanide in some of the caplets, and then bringing it back to the store and putting it back on the shelves.
They're buying
and they're like, and he must have done it in a pretty short time window, because after 48 to 72 hours, the cyanide, at least the amount that he was putting into the caplets, would have eaten through wax, like the outside or the whatever they use for the outside of the caplet.
Yeah.
So it's like or the capsule rather. So it's like it would have eaten through that after a few days. So it's like this must be a fairly recent thing because
what I think he was doing is he was going to some place, buying a bottle of Tylenol or a couple bottles of Tylenol, taking it back to his lair, loading up some of those fucking capsules, going to another store, not one that
and
he
then
bought,
putting it back
and
on
just
and
walking
putting
up
it
there
back.
and putting it in there.
I think that's probably
that's
what
what
he
you
because I think
that's the simplest way.
Um,
And back in the day, you could do that because it's not like it was today for you youngsters. Okay. Back in the 70s and the early 80s, a video camera was like close to like $500 or $600 a camera.
they were more than that.
Yeah, and then the central place to process it might be like a $2,000 machine. So most stores maybe had like 3 cameras, and the fucking resolution was shit. I mean,
it's not like now where cameras are cheap and they're everywhere.
And CRT television screens. I mean, real low resolution. So even if they got you on camera, they couldn't really make a positive ID half the time anyway. Nowadays, a camera is worth a penny. They're the size of a goddamn Tic Tac, and they're fucking everywhere. Eventually, there's going to be cameras in fucking sheets of paper, and they're going to be cheaper.
And a lot of
them,
they have like facial recognition.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to escape. This is going to be one big fucking technological surveillance state. You're going to be on camera everywhere. They're going to have fucking microscopic dust flying around that has fucking microchips in it and cameras in it. They were actually talking about that.
Yeah.
You know about that?
Yeah. Which, well, like I said, I can see that happening because
Microscopic
everything's just
dust
getting smaller and smaller.
that covers the entire Earth, and they will be able to access everything everywhere and find any object everywhere on the Earth. You'll be able to fucking... I really don't like that shit. That's some shit that Batman would try to stop. They would go, you know what I'm talking about? Remember when Batman made the fucking machine that could hear everybody talking and find you and hear what you're saying? Yeah. He did that.
They have that now.
He did that shit to find the Joker, and then once he found a Joker and fucked the Joker up, he destroyed the machine because this is too much power.
We can't have this.
We can't have this shit. Well, no, big tech's gonna make that shit. It's dangerous. It's that's fucking unconstitutional.
It is, and it's it's always kind of like, it's kind of shitty because as me, like someone that writes about true crime, and especially in this kind of case, had we had the technology that we have nowadays back then, this dude probably would have been caught, which he should have been because he killed 7 fucking people that they know of.
All you need, though, you don't need a fucking hardcore surveillance state to do that. All you need cameras in all the parking lots and cameras in all the stores where civilization is. That's where the fucking that's where the shit is happening. Okay? If you want to put cameras on your car, then so be it.
Yeah, see, I don't have a problem with businesses and shit like that putting cameras up, because they're protecting their bottom line, I mean, essentially.
Yeah,
so.
If you want to put cameras around your house, then you go ahead. All right? But the governments don't need to be putting that shit into dust and releasing it all over the earth.
Well, yeah, because then it's like whoever is in, it's like they decide they don't like some shit you said, then you're in trouble.
When I was a kid, the concept that a computer chip and a camera and a fucking and a microscopic modem that can talk to the internet, that would be the size of a fucking piece of dust and 1/10 the price of a sheet of paper. That was beyond me. I never would have imagined that shit.
Well, and it happened very quickly.
Yeah, never. And that's scary.
I mean, like I said, even in our lifetimes, we remember.
You're right.
We were kids, but I still remember, like I was a kid or a teenager. Yeah. I still remember, like, before there was an internet, before there was cameras everywhere, before there was any of this shit. No GPS, no nothing.
That is shit that could not even be imagined.
And we're not that old.
That is shit that could not even be imagined in Star Trek.
Well, they didn't imagine it.
They didn't even imagine that shit in Star Trek. I saw the Star Trek communicator when I was a kid and go, man, I wish I had one of those. And what we have today blows the fucking Star Trek communicator.
Well, yeah, he could just talk to the Enterprise. That's all he could.
And there's no internet and there's no little screen on it.
Although I'm still mad we don't have a transporter.
My little fucking...
Somebody needs to get on.
My little fucking tablet is better than McCoy's tricorder.
Did you say that about McCoy?
And has more knowledge in it. As long as you got an internet connection, more knowledge than McCoy's tricorder.
Yeah.
All I need is a way to cast cellular energy into myself to get an MRI or a fucking X-ray image of my body, all right? And then have an AI app look for cancer or any problems in my fucking body. That's the next step. You will totally eliminate the need for hospitals and doctors.
I'm kind of down for that because I think it would be really cool if you could diagnose your own shit.
Diagnose yourself. You go, oh
just
shit, I
take
got
the phone
cancer.
and be like, wah.
Yeah. You go, oh shit, I got cancer. And then you fucking show that picture to a doctor. You go, I got cancer,
Help.
bro. Yeah. I'll fucking send
Get
you
the
some
nanites.
money. Yeah, get the nanites. Send me the fucking, what do I need? Send me the prescription. You know, I'll fucking send you the money through PayPal. That's the way it should be done.
I'm down.
Yeah,
I'm down.
that's
for
coming. I got
that's not that like far out of.
I got a robot that fucking does my blood pressure. I got a little thing. I got a little thing that does my blood sugar. I'm constantly going in there checking. I'm straight. That technology back in the 70s would have been fucking something space age.
We're living in this space age.
Yeah, fucking high.
And everyone's just kind of like meh.
Yeah, like meh.
Well, because it happened so quickly that like people that are a lot younger than us,
they don't realize it.
They grew up with computers, so it's like I didn't get a computer until I didn't see a computer until I was 8.
Well, we grew up with computers.
And then it was like an Apple IIe.
Yeah, we grew up with computers. They just weren't. They were just very.
They were just shitty.
They were weak. You couldn't do much with them.
Because, like I said, I started using them when I was 8 in school. So, like in 1970.
Yeah.
No, 1980. 1980.
I didn't really understand. I really didn't grasp what was going on until about 96.
I don't think anybody really grasped like the. How much it was going to change everything.
I bought a web TV, and from TV I could access the internet, and that blew me away because I could do it without a computer.
Yeah.
And then I could, very rapidly, with my bank card, buy things from fucking Hot Topic and order shit without having to go to the store, and I was blown away. I thought I was Arnold Schwarzenegger. Out of fucking that one movie where he buys that fucking plane ticket. What was the name of that shit? That was Running Man.
No, it wasn't Running Man.
Was it Running Man? Oh no! It was it was the one where he goes to Mars. Get your ass to Mars. What's the name of that? Total Recall.
Total Recall.
I thought I was in Total Recall, man. I was buying shit over.
And you used it to buy shit from Hot Topic.
From Hot Topic.
At least you didn't buy Jenko pants.
I wrote some sexy ass goth clothes and shit. That's back when Hot Topic had goth clothes.
They did. I remember buying actual good goth clothes.
Good goth clothes.
Like corsets and stuff.
Yeah. You could get the 20-hole Doc Martens and everything.
Yeah, they used to have good shit.
The big tall Doc
I guess
Martens.
it didn't sell enough though, because like after a while they just kind of went. It's like, well, you know what? We're just gonna sell a bunch of T-shirts and.
All right, look, I gotta tell you guys a story.
Uh-oh.
About Hot Topic.
Is this about the big pants?
Yeah, it's about the big pants. Okay.
I know this story.
When I was living in Biloxi, my ex-wife's best friend was named Melissa, and Melissa worked at Hot Topic down in Biloxi, and she was a goth chick, hardcore goth chick. The people that owned Hot Topic were goths, all right, and they fucking liked her, and they ended up promoting her to like a regional manager, and she ends up going to this big fucking meeting at someplace near their headquarters. They flew her down there, and they had a big meeting about, look, we need some goth clothes that we can sell to the masses, and this is what they're wearing right now. And they showed pictures of Jankos. So we're going to make a goth version of that. And they were goth laughing Jankos. And snickering.
So like, no one's going to wear those.
And they came up with the most ridiculous designs. All right. And that's what ended up being popular, man. We started seeing that shit at the club, and that was made as a joke by the people that owned Hot Topic.
Well, I always saw it as
we thought they were fucking crazy. They had a contest. Remember the contest?
Come up with the stupidest shit that you could possibly...
They said, well, why don't you get these kids and sell them fucking these outfits and take pictures of them. Whoever can make the most ridiculous kid will get a fucking a bonus. And they were... and they were bringing kids in and putting big fucking Jinkos on them and fucking crazy ass fucking mixtures of shit. Fucking spray color in their hair and shit, and then putting them in high heel shoes and sending them down the middle of the mall. And you go, yeah, man, you look fantastic, you look awesome. And the fucking people were laughing at him. They'd come back, I don't know, man. People are fucking reacting bad to this. I don't know. They were taking pictures
Although,
of them
gotta say,
at the main office, and in a competition to who can make the most fucked up kid. It's fucking ridiculous, man.
I mean,
Talk
I
about a
gotta
hot
say,
topic.
like, not to shit on any little baby bats or little emo kids or anything, but us cranky old goths who were old, like, even in the fucking...
Back in those days, we were getting old, and we were like, these kids.
When I was at the castle in the 90s and the 2000s, you'd see, like, these kids showing up in these giant pants and everything, and all us old people were, like, just laughing our asses off at you guys.
Emos were actually...
We were just
joke.
like, look at that shit.
They were a
Oh
joke
my
that
God.
it was created by Hot Topic.
And I didn't even know, like, before I met you, that's what that was. But I was just like, well, because, like, all the elder goths were, like, laughing at that shit because they
executives
were
at Hot Topic.
they just called them
that.
the mall goths.
Yeah, executives at Hot Topic.
Or the Mansonites.
Yeah. Executives at the Hot Topic did that shit as a gag.
We just thought that was hilarious. And we're like, oh, here's these kids again. Holy fucking shit.
Okay.
Because you know how bitchy goths are. We're so, like, bitchy and catty. Especially, like, old ones like us.
Yeah, Louis Hernandez and Mark, they're going, yeah, it's Total Recall. Yeah. I
mean,
felt like I was in Total Recall, man. Fucking,
yeah.
I thought I was in the future. It was tripping me the fuck out.
Ooh.
Yeah. I thought I was in the future. And then they had fucking chat rooms. And then,
You went in some of those.
And then a friend of mine called me over his phone through my computer, and he didn't even have to pay long distance charges. I was tripping. Remember that?
I know. So it's like, because remember back in the old days when you actually, like, had to pay to call somebody that was outside of your city?
Yeah, had to pay long distance charges.
Yeah.
He got around those long distance charges, and my mind was
Nobody
fucking
does that
blown.
shit anymore. You can just Skype that shit. It's free. Which is crazy. I mean, that's better. Because that used to suck, man. Like, even when I was because it was long distance outside of your city. Yeah. Even if I called my mom, like, a couple cities away, it was like fucking, I don't even remember how much it was. It was like fucking... Yeah. Well, it was like a few dollars, and then it was like so many cents, like, per minute. It was like ridiculous.
Yeah, business, you're right, man. That shit was Running Man. He escaped. It was Running Man. It was not Total Recall. He escaped from prison and went to the fucking Mexican girl's house and fucking tried to book the flight to Hawaii.
That was Total Recall.
No, that was not Total Recall. That was Running Man. That was Running Man. Okay, because he booked the flight to Hawaii, not to Mars. He booked it to Hawaii. He was trying to run, but he didn't make it to Hawaii. Maybe you're right, man. I thought it was. Business, right?
Jim Trucker asks, have y'all ever looked into the Highway 20 killings? No, but I actually am planning to do another Highway Murders show. Because we did one a while back. I think I talked about the Colonial Parkway killer and maybe the Texas Killing Fields. I can't remember. But I wanted to do another because there's like a really lot of like unsolved highway murders. Yeah. So... Are we done with Big Pants?
Yeah, we're done with Big Pants. We're done with Running Man.
Okay.
You said that shit. It was Running Man. I know it was Running Man.
Maybe it was. I don't know.
He escaped from prison and he went to fucking Maria Conchita's house. Wasn't her name Maria Conchita?
Maria Conchita Alonso.
Isn't that her name? Yeah, Maria Conchita Alonso. Wasn't that her name? Yeah. Went to her house. She was a cute Hispanic chick.
And like threatened her and...
Yeah, he was like, you're gonna do you.
And I'd be like, no, get out. I'm calling the police.
And then he used her credit card to buy the damn flight
get out. I'm calling the police.
Well, yeah, it wouldn't matter because he was already on the run from the police. Remember, he escaped from prison. And then he used he swiped the card to buy a ticket to Hawaii, but that didn't work. And then she found out that he was in there on false charges, that he was actually innocent. He didn't massacre all those people. They set him up for it. Remember? He was the army guy.
Mark asked if you would go gay for Arnie.
No, I would not go gay for Arnie. Only David Bowie.
He would go gay for David Bowie.
In the fucking Jareth outfit.
Well, not now, because he's dead.
Well, he's dead, but I'm talking about in the fucking... That was actually Jenny. Jenny invented that shit.
That's my idea.
That was her idea.
That's the what now?
I got drunk one time and fucking. This is right after fucking David Bowie died.
Yeah.
We were up at the bar.
We were at Ibar and everyone was like crying. Yeah. Well, because Ibar is like, it's like 80s retro night. It's like, and they were playing like all David Bowie songs, and I was just like crying and shit.
And
I was like, God damn it.
Fucking sis, I love that man.
I was like, this is so fucking sad.
Would you have sex with that man for me? And I started fucking with it. I was like, only if he was in that Jareth outfit from the Labyrinth. And she's like, yeah.
All right, yeah.
So I started
can
just
get
like
behind
pouring
that.
it on. I was trying to feed her fantasies.
Although I would have also accepted the outfit from the fashion video or the Ashes to Ashes video.
Yeah,
I would have accepted
as
that
the
also.
Harlequin.
Sure.
Yeah.
I like that too.
Yeah. Well, no, that man, his final words was, tell them I was a closeted heterosexual.
Yeah,
That was
I
his
love
final
that.
words, yeah. Tell them I was a closeted heterosexual.
That's awesome.
And in his last video, he goes back into the closet. Remember that?
That's I think that might be even better than my previously favorite last words, which were those of Oscar Wilde, who reportedly said, either these curtains go or I do.
Yeah.
And then he died.
Yeah. Because, I mean, it's obvious once you fucking do any research on Bowie. Bowie was a pioneer in a lot of shit. He was not gay. He was pretending to be gay. He knew how to charm.
Well, he was pansexual.
Yeah, but I don't know if he was actually having sex with guys. I think he just knew how to play, and a lot of people have said this, that he knew how to play the gay aristocracy, and that's who was backing a lot of his artistic endeavors in his career. They loved him so much.
Well, and you have to think too that in the 70s it was very chic.
Yeah, it was like super high class
to be just like pansexual, just to be like, oh, whatever.
He was a man of his time.
Whatever.
He was a man of his time.
You know what I mean? So it was very chic in the 70s.
He was a Romanesque personality.
Sure.
Great artist.
An artiste, you might want to say.
Yeah.
So, okay, so where was I? We're talking about a horrible case, okay? Calm down.
What's that?
Although...
Now they're asking me if I'd have sex with Crossel and shit like that. You guys are trying to sexualize things.
Oh, the new Christmas Chronicles is coming out. You guys, November 25th.
Yeah.
I just saw it yesterday.
Christmas Chronicles Part 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Goldie Hawn is in it, too, playing Mrs. Claus.
So those are like the closest thing to like a new classic.
Yay, we have something to watch on Christmas.
Christmas movies. Real good Christmas movies.
I'm going to watch that, and I'm going to watch the 2 MST Christmas. Oh, no, actually 3 Christmas.
If you have not
MST
seen
episodes.
Christmas Chronicles 1, you should see it.
Yeah,
the second one, the trailer just went up. And
November 25th, it's coming out.
Crossel and his wife, Goldie Hawn. Goldie is playing Mrs. Claus. She looks great. Looks like she just had some work done on her face. She looks good. And the adventure takes place in the North Pole with the same kids.
That's pretty awesome that they got the same kids back.
Got the same kids back.
I mean, I guess the older one's not really a kid, but you know.
Like a real good Spielberg style Christmas movie. Without any of the bullshit, you know? It's Crossel. Well, Santa Claus carries a 45.
Well, and I particularly like in the first one that Santa got to go to jail and hang out with hookers.
Yeah, and they were doing the backup vocals for it.
Yeah.
Because
that's what you need in a Christmas movie.
That's how Crussel's going to roll.
You want Santa being in jail with hookers.
Yeah.
I'm
and
just
it's
saying.
not, and don't think I'm saying it's like it's some kind of subversion of it's 100% Christmas, 100%.
It does. It puts me in the mood.
Christmas.
It just puts me in the Christmas mood.
He just got thrown into jail because he was trying to save Christmas, but he gets out of jail. The cops let him out because he's able to. He would convince them that he was Santa Claus.
Because he knew what toys they all wanted when they were kids.
He had all the toys in his pocket of what they wanted when they were kids.
That's right.
He could pull a toy out. Yeah.
That's pretty rad.
Yeah.
That was such a good movie. Mm-hmm. I hope the second one's good too. I mean, I'm sure it will be, but it's Crossel. I'm excited about it. I just found out yesterday that it was coming out.
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
I was looking. So, okay, so at this point, like I said, they figured out that it's a Tylenol. They figured out that it was cyanide.
Ford drove down and said Bowie and Jagger just wanted to get drunk, take drugs, and fuck groupies. Everything else is just to sell records. And you are spot on, my man. Yeah. They knew how to play the media. They knew how to fucking keep everything interesting and keep everybody fucking guessing about who they were. Music culture back in the day was their version of social media. I remember what it was like not to have internet. You got your information and the vibe, and the scene came from what was happening in albums. That was our social media back then. But times have changed. Yeah. But in those days, man, those guys were on top of the game. And Jagger, man, fuck. That dude's a fucking living legend. I can't believe he's still alive. I
can't believe any of them.
He was like 70 and still fucking dancing and rocking skinny and shit. Fucking heroin, man. He just sleeps, I guess.
I'm telling you.
Like a vampire.
Tempting.
I gotta make another drink. Want another drink?
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead and
All right, so
get
what-
the show back on track because we fucked the show up. Yeah. Okay.
We did.
Put it on there.
All right, so where was I? So like I said, so now I will say, as shitty as a lot of responses are to this type of public crisis, not mentioning anything in particular, but I'm just saying that I will say that in 1982, I do admire the speed with which they got on this shit. Not only did Johnson & Johnson immediately, like the day after they found out that it was like Tylenol and there was cyanide in it, they pulled all the shit, they recalled everything, and everybody in Chicago, all the authorities and everything, they had flyers printed up in like every imaginable language. They had cars out with fucking loudspeakers and shit like that, like telling everybody, don't take the Tylenol, there's poison in it. It's like, so they really did make an effort. And the cops said at the time, it's like, look, we were... obviously we were interested in catching whoever the fuck was doing this, but it's like our number one priority was like warning everybody not to take any more. We didn't want any more deaths. So they really were on the ball for this, which is a nice change. Because like I said, a lot of these cases, they just wait until it's too late or they just don't want to do anything or anything. But on this one, they seemed like they were really, really on the ball as soon as they figured out what was going on. So they go to the press. They take all the shit off the shelves, and basically a couple of days after, this was October 4th, which I think was only like 5 or 6 days like after the first death. The mayor of Chicago, Major Byrne, thank you. She basically came out and passed an ordinance saying, okay, well, all drugs sold in stores now have to have tamper-resistant packaging. So that was like immediate. Really on the ball. So Johnson & Johnson on the 5th, they recall, at first they were only recalling the Tylenol that was that lot number, but once they, looked further into the thing and like the shit was coming from a lot of different lot numbers, so they said, okay, basically we have to take all of this off the shelves everywhere. So they took all Tylenol products off the shelves all over the country. This was 31 million bottles valued at more than $100 million, which is almost $300 million in today's money. So basically, like I said, you have all this shit going on. Now they start to concentrate. Once they have the public informed and they think that that's fine, they're like, okay, now we're going to try and figure out like who the fuck is doing this. So they said, now we did get a bunch of leads in the first few days, like so many that they were like having a hard time like keeping track of all of them. So it's like we got all these wackos like calling saying they did it. It's like they had to investigate every single one and like none of them were that. But, so you just got thousands of leads. So basically it's like this is going on for a couple weeks. The story is obviously huge news. Everyone is super paranoid. They don't want to take any drugs now because it's like taking something... I mean, just popping a fucking aspirin or taking a Tylenol is just something people do every day. You don't really think about it. And the fact that you could just like take a couple Tylenol because you got a headache and then like 2 hours later you could be fucking dead. That's really freaking some people out, like understandably. So this was like a huge fucking media circus. So basically they're like, the first thing that they thought of, they're like, well, we know that this probably didn't happen at the manufacturing point because it was like too many different facilities that we're talking about. So like maybe this is somebody that worked for Johnson & Johnson in the past and was like disgruntled, like a disgruntled employee. Now, there had been a problem with Johnson & Johnson in the past. Maybe you guys have heard about it, but they were getting in trouble because of their like talcum powder, because their talcum powder had like this like mold stuff growing in it, and they thought that it was like giving people cancer. Like it particularly gave women like ovarian cancer and stuff like that. There are still, as far as I know, there are still like a lot of pending lawsuits about that kind of shit where they think like
sounds unlikely.
Well, no, it's this particular type of mold that got into their talcum powder that they think was causing this really high incidence of like certain types of like ovarian cancer, cervical cancer, stuff like that in women that were using it. So there was that whole kind of shit going on. So they investigated like a bunch of ex-employees. They they couldn't really find a whole bunch of stuff, going on there. However, then an interesting development. October 6th. They get a letter. The cops get a letter. Or no, Johnson & Johnson gets a letter. And it's basically an extortion letter. It says that I will stop the killings if you give me $1 million. And it basically set out how he did it, and it's very easy to do. It only takes 10 minutes. I can do it in my car, blah blah blah. And it's just I'll keep doing it unless you send me $1 million. So the cops investigate this letter that Johnson & Johnson had gotten. Now, they trace this letter to a dude named James Lewis who lived in New York City. So they're investigating him for a while. He gets picked up in December. Now, I want to talk more about him later because he's still kind of the prime suspect. But I don't know. I'm not sure how I feel about him as a suspect. I'm kind of leaning more toward maybe he is. But the thing about it is that opinions are divided with the investigators over whether this dude was involved or not. Because it could be that he was just some extortionist who was just took advantage of a situation at large and hadn't actually. Sure.
Yeah.
But which is what I kind of thought. But then I found out some more shit about him that they don't mention on Wikipedia or anything like that. And then I was like, oh, well, maybe that makes it more likely that he did something like this.
That'd be some risky shit because you're sitting there sending letters, and if you get caught, then you go down for the murders.
Mm-hmm.
So that's picking up some serious charges just to make $1 million. I mean, you might as well just do it. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah. And I'm kind of okay, so a couple of people in there, I found this timeline, I think it was in the Chicago Reader. And they had a bunch of investigators on the case, talking about him as a suspect. Now, one of the guys, outright says it wasn't him. He was just an opportunist. He called him an asshole. He said he was just looking for an opportunity to extort some money out of Johnson & Johnson, but I don't think he was the one responsible for the poisoning. Now, another guy, the Attorney General, he actually does think this guy not only sent the extortion letter, which they know he did because they found his fucking fingerprints and shit on it, but also he thinks that he was responsible for the poisonings, but we'll talk about that in a minute. So, basically, actually, let me take a break because I gotta pee.
Okay.
But
go ahead and tell everybody you gotta pee.
I'm just telling you.
Okay.
Do you want to talk, or do you want me to run a couple?
Go ahead and run the commercials.
Well, I only have one commercial and one Pookie video, so it's only
All right.
maybe a minute and 30 seconds.
Show me.
Okay, so you got FV commercial there, and then Pookie at the bottom.
I'll do it.
So do those two, and then if you want to come back. So I'm gonna go to the bathroom.
Going to commercial.
You love true crime. I love true crime. And I've spent the last 3 years compiling a series of the most intriguing unsolved murders of the 20th century. It's called The Faceless Villain, and Volume 3 is available now. Featuring such fascinating cases as the Cady murders, the Carrie Babies case, the Frog Boys, the Alcasar murders, and the Ciarra Park dismemberment incident, The Faceless Villain Volume 3 is an involving exploration of unsolved slayings spanning the years from 1980 to 1999. Pick up your copy in print or ebook formats on Amazon, or download the audiobook version from audible.com, and get ready for a chilling journey through modern crime history. You love true crime. I love true crime. And I've spent the last 3 years compiling a series of the most intriguing unsolved murders of the 20th century. It's called The Faceless Villain, and Volume 3 is available now. Featuring such fascinating cases as the Cady murders, the Carrie Babies case, the Frog Boys, the Alcasar murders, and the Ciarra Park dismemberment incident, The Faceless Villain Volume 3 is an involving exploration of unsolved slayings spanning the years from 1980 to 1999. Pick up your copy in print or ebook formats on Amazon, or download the audiobook version from audible.com, and get ready for a chilling journey through modern crime history.
So he said that he played the commercials twice. Did you
that shit
seriously do
twice.
that?
I was shamming. I didn't want to talk. But no, but it did. I went through that one, and then I went back to the commercial. I says, I'm going to replug. Because I didn't plug, man. Didn't plug. I didn't talk about flash bulbs or getting people fucking coming back on Patreon. We need more patron supporters.
Because he told me the other
super
day.
chats. We need all that. We got to start plugging. Because we don't plug enough. We don't
Well,
plug enough.
because we're not, because we just kind of, we do this for fun and we're not greedy.
Yeah,
it's
we're not
like,
greedy, yeah.
you know, we like getting money from the show, but it's like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I always feel really like skeezy, like kind of.
Yeah. And then I said, fuck it. I want to see Pookie again. Because you're the one that filmed Pookie on that. We got a new camera.
Yeah, that was like a test.
We got a new camera.
Yeah. But look, it's got a microphone.
It's got a microphone and everything. So we take better
and
pictures.
I just took like a test of I put music over it because the audio didn't come out because I forgot to turn the microphone on.
Yeah, you called it. That was Pookie being suspicious. She looks at the camera like, what the fuck is this? The fuck you looking at me for? I'm in my room. Get that shit out of here.
She was mad because she was in her apartment, and I was like, hey, what are you doing? Because during the day, she doesn't do like a lot of exciting shit because she usually just sleeps.
Right.
And if you try to like videotape her while she's sleeping, she just looks at you like...
Yeah.
She just gives you that fucking face.
We got some new shirts coming soon. And we're going to fucking stir up the fucking shirt excitement. Gonna be some real good designs you guys are going to like. And you can get those for a $20 super chat. And one of them's going to be like a 506 shirt from my unit to you. It's going to have infantry cross rifles on it. That shirt will probably be an OD Green shirt. We got OD Green, right? We can order those, right?
I can get those, yeah. I can get anything. I get shit from jiffyshirts.com.
That one should be on OD Green or gray.
Okay.
All right. And then we're going to have a Canon film. Canon.
Mark said I want an It's a Movie shirt. That's right. We need to make one where you kept saying, like, it sure is a movie.
It sure is a movie, yeah. I was probably fucking loaded and just trying to come up with something, you know what I mean? It was kind of semi-mediocre. Like. Now, should I put, okay, let me ask you guys. On these shirts, should you have my fucking crazy ass on the shirt, maybe with a facial expression that matches that? Or do you want just a saying? I was thinking about just putting me on the shirt.
Because I want like a picture.
Crazy.
I want a picture of you making a face. Because I told you, I said I need a good picture of you making like a funny face, like with your mouth open or something. So then I say whatever comes out of my mouth. Zach asked what our thoughts are on Hawaiian pizza.
Yes, indeed.
I actually love Hawaiian pizza.
Yes,
I know
indeed.
a lot of people don't, and I know it's cool to like wish death upon people that don't like it.
Yes, indeed.
I think it's good.
I love it. Yeah,
it's not my favorite.
I make it.
But yeah, it's not my favorite. Like, it's not the first thing I would pick. But if somebody had some Hawaiian pizza, fuck yeah, I'm eating that.
The saltiness of the ham mixed with the sweetness of the fucking pineapple. Hell yeah.
I will say though that when I was in the UK, one pizza topping I found very weird was sweet corn.
No, not good. Not good.
Which.
No.
Yeah. Okay. I'm not, like I said, I'm not gonna shit on people for liking that. It's like, whatever. Yeah, they had shrimp on there too, but I can get behind that because I used to go to fucking, what was that chain that used to have, like Pizzeria Uno or whatever? My brother used to work there a long time ago. And they had like a really, really nice, like Chicago style shrimp pizza. And I was into that.
Zach's he's eating Papa John's right now. That's my favorite fast food pizza.
Papa John's is kind of like,
that's the good one.
Like the owner of it is a douche, but like
why is he a douche?
I don't know. He's just douchey in general. But of all the fast food pizza, they're all passable. Papa John's is probably my favorite.
Yeah.
Well, just because, like I said, the older I get, like, and I love tomato sauce, so this sucks, but tomato sauce gives me really bad heartburn. So it's like generally the sweeter the tomato sauce is, the less heartburn it gives me. So like the ones that are more like acidic. So I feel like Domino's and Pizza Hut have more acidic sauces, and Papa John's is like sweeter or milder, so it doesn't like mess up my stomach as much.
Well, you don't fucking do what I tell you. I said, put a little bit of that baking soda. Put a little bit of baking soda. Baking soda or baking powder? Baking soda. In water. And
I know you tell, but I'm not doing that because it's gross.
Fucking takes it away.
We usually have Tums, but we're out.
Yeah, we're out of those.
And he always buys the gross fruit ones where I always want the peppermint ones.
Yeah, fuck that peppermint bullshit.
No, I like the peppermint.
No, fuck that. I like them. I want my shit to taste like Trix.
Ew.
Trix cereal, yeah.
Why are you so fruity?
I don't know, man. It's the man in me, I guess, because
Is it?
men like fruity flavors. We don't like those chocolatey, minty, girl-type flavors with caramel. We like it. It's just, we tend more towards sherbet, Skittles, Starburst. You know what I mean? Tart stuff. I like that.
I'm not into it. Like, I don't hate it. Like, I'll take them, but if I have the choice, I would rather have something like chocolatey or nutty or caramelly or minty.
See, if you just let a woman alone, she's gonna make something like a fucking hot fudge brownie. That's what she's gonna make. She's gonna take some brownies and put
We're the
ice cream
worst.
and put another brownie and pour a hot fudge and then put the whip.
Then I'm gonna put coffee ice cream on them.
Yeah.
Put chocolate chips on that shit.
That's
I'm gonna
what's
put
gonna
like
happen.
walnuts on that shit.
That's what's gonna happen. Yeah.
But it's good.
All right. It's not bad. I'm just saying.
You just eat like a big pile of jujubes or some shit. That's
No.
fucking disgusting. And then you'll get the shits.
No, it's normal.
No, really, it's the gummy bears. What was it that it was the gummy bears that were like sugar free?
The sugar-free gummy bears. I
Will
never had them.
I haven't either, but like
They're like a laxative.
Go to the Amazon reviews for the sugar-free gummy bears and
Yeah.
read the reviews. They are hilarious.
Yeah.
Because apparently, I don't know how true a lot of the stuff is, but once one person said they acted like a laxative and like they shit out a penny that they ate when they were 3 or something like that. It's like they are fucking funny. I don't know. It's because I guess it's got aspartame in it, and I guess that's like a laxative.
Everybody's talking about pizza. When we're gonna get on the fucking the recipe book. There's gonna be a whole pizza section.
Well, after Halloween, because like I said, I got it set up. I just need you to sit down and like go through all the shit and make sure it's all right.
I'm a pizza fanatic. My pizza's better than most pizzerias.
Well, easily.
I know how to make it. I make the sauce. I make the fucking dough. And I make all that. There's a secret to all that shit. I'm gonna pass it along to you. Once you get the setup right, you can make a pizza for fucking nothing. As long as you can get your hands on bread flour. You can't get it on any old kind of flour. Bread flour. I think really, per pizza, if you were to probably break it down how much it costs for me to make, say, like just a regular pepperoni pizza, a big one would be like a large. Because my pizza peel, to get it on a stone, really, I'm limited to that. I want a fucking huge peel and a huge stone. So I could put an extra large in there. But, say like a large pizza, I'm making that for maybe like 75 cents. It's not expensive at all. That's just all that shit's cheap.
I mean, unless you get
the cheese, it probably bumps it up to about $1.
Yeah, I mean, because you can get the big bag of like part skim like mozzarella.
Yeah, that's the cheapest way.
Which is the cheapest way, which is fine. But if you want to really, you have to get like the little cakes of like mozzarella. The buffalo mozzarella, which is really, but it's like how much? That's like $8 or $9 for
more.
Like 2 little cakes.
Right. Now you can
and
make
that'll
that.
Make 1 or 2 pizzas.
You can make that at home.
You can. We haven't yet though.
But I calculated all the cost. You got to use cheesecloth. You got to use lemon. You got to use fucking milk and shit to make it. There's a certain kind of bacteria you need. I researched what it ends up being where it's about the same price just to buy it.
Yeah.
You know. So, although I may have to look back into it. We have to see. But the last I looked at it, making your own mozzarella is about the same as buying it. You know, so it's kind of expensive to make too.
I mean,
it's the same thing with ice cream.
Yeah.
You can make your own ice cream, but you can't beat the price of Bluebell. It's expensive to make your own ice cream. It's all the eggs.
It is. Yeah.
Eggs and sugar and fucking shit ton of cream.
We used to have an ice cream maker, and it was like it was nice,
the
like
ice
that
and
you
the
could
salt
make it.
And all that.
But yeah, in the end, it was just like easier.
It's easier and cheaper.
It's really not expensive to buy.
Buy Bluebell ice cream, which is that's the best, and Publix brand, their brand ice cream. They got their own creamery. Publix brand ice cream is fucking fantastic.
It really is.
Their sherbet's good.
And they put them on sale like all the time. You get like 2 for $2 for $8 or
yeah. So you're just not gonna be able to beat their prices. I remember back
I mean,
in
if
the
you
day.
like to make ice cream, like we used to like to make it in the summer sometimes. Like especially my grandma used to make it with like fresh peaches and stuff.
Oh yeah. Same thing in Mississippi. Fucking when the peaches started to get overripe, people pick them off the backyards.
Yeah, you make ice cream with it. Sure, my grandma did that.
Peach ice cream, you people would not fucking understand.
That's only seasonal. They don't even like
peach. Mississippi peach ice cream. Another one that we used to do is make orange ice cream, not orange sherbet, but orange ice cream because we had oranges.
Yeah, we had a tree in the backyard
really good.
that had sour oranges on it.
Really good. We got to get back. This food show.
I know. Yeah. We always end up talking about food.
Yeah.
Good because we're hungry, yeah. But yeah, so like I said, so basically like a month after the last death, they had pretty much exhausted all of their leads. So it's like they had like a task force and everything that was originally like 100 something guys, like 115 guys or something. And like after that, they were just kind of like, okay, well, we exhausted all the leads. So the task force was kind of like taken out of nothing. They did, however, find like they pulled a bunch of bottles off the shelves because they were looking for other contaminated bottles. Obviously, they actually found so the 5 bottles that actually killed people. They actually found 3 bottles that had poison in that were still on the shelves.
Going on about my arms and shit and saying I'm sexy and that I got smell like perfume. Did you say I smelled like perfume?
I didn't say that. We were talking about
like
the mango.
Mangoes taste like perfume.
Mangoes tasting like.
Yeah, I don't fucking smell like perfume. I mean, I do wear cologne, but I wear Obsession.
You smell like Obsession.
Yeah, I wear. Yeah, she loves that fucking smell. That's an old man fragrance now. I don't even think young guys know about Obsession. That shit smells good, man.
It does smell good.
Yeah.
Well, I kind of like. Well, in perfume too, it has to like react with your natural like body scent.
Yeah.
Because some people can wear particular perfumes or colognes. They're all perfumes. Come on. Yeah. They only call it cologne because dudes.
They gotta get men to buy it.
You're right. But it's all the same shit.
Yeah.
But it's like, so it has to like react correctly, like with your body chemistry, because otherwise it's gonna smell weird or off.
Yeah.
So, but when you find the right synergy, because I feel like you and Obsession are a good match.
Is that what it is? My pheromones, huh?
Yeah, well, no, because that was one of the things that, like, when I first met you, I was like, man, he smells good.
Yeah.
And it was because of Obsession, but it was also kind of like how it was working.
Well, it smells like spices and vanilla.
Which I like.
Yeah.
I don't like florally kind of stuff. Unless it's, I like orange blossom-y type of smells, but I don't really like gardenia, or I don't like that floral kind of thing. I like musky kind of smells, or like vanilla or wood or stuff like that.
Yeah, Obsession is powerful, but not skanky like fucking patchouli. Even though I kind of
Although I admit I
kind of like patchouli, but it's skanky. It's just like
a friend of ours.
Every time I smell patchouli, I expect to see a hippie. Or something, you know.
Well,
what I mean?
it got unfairly associated with hippies, and I think a lot of people don't like it because of that. But I actually like the way patchouli smells.
Yeah.
We have a friend.
I smell patchouli though. I know I'm dealing with a slut.
We have a friend.
I know I'm dealing with a slut.
I'm not mentioning any names.
So you're a fucking slut.
We have a friend, and he loves patchouli oil.
Yeah.
And I like that smell, so it's like every time we see him out, and he's like he's a goofball. Yeah. He's awesome. Like I really like him, but he always wears it, so it like reminds me of him now because he's always wearing it, and he's like drunk on tequila every time we see him, and he's like a total whack job. But so that reminds me of him. But I really like the way patchouli smells, and I really like another smell that I really like too is dragon's blood, which you can get. I don't think they put it in any colognes or anything, but you can buy it like an essential oil, and you can get what do you call it? Fucking. What's the stuff that you burn? Like incense. You can get incense that smells like, because I used to have these little purple cones that smelled like that, and so my apartment used to smell like that.
Listen to this shit. Sandra's in there trying to pimp me out, saying if you give Tom a fucking $10 super chat, he takes his shirt off. I don't though.
Because you did that one time.
And I think it was 20.
I think it was 20.
I think it was 20.
Now that if I remember correctly. We were pretty drunk on that show.
Yeah, I'm not really fucking pumped up right now. I haven't lifted in a week. I was going through a fucking...
Well, you're going through your hormonal changes.
I went through a fucking de-stress week where I just sit there and just grow for about a week. I got bigger. Did get bigger. Now I'm gonna be off of it for probably another 2 weeks, and then I'm gonna go back on a SARM cycle for about another month. Probably LGD 4033. That's a good SARM. I got a lot of rad 140 too. I need to use up. it's some shit, you know what I mean? This is a new era. Back in the day, dudes would not give up their stack. They would not tell people any kind of performance-enhancing drugs. They were ashamed of that shit. But all us new guys are trying to break that taboo. It's the same with women, all right? Women have been fucking with their hormones to prevent pregnancy or look pretty or do whatever. They've been doing this shit for fucking ever, all right? It's the same thing in a way. Women fucking been getting breast implants. They do shit. You know what I mean? It's cosmetic stuff. There are certain fucking compounds out there that'll help a motherfucker heal up. Which means that you can work out a lot, which means that you get big. Because you can work out more than you normally would. A guy at 51 working out the fucking... I would not be able to keep up with my fucking workout routines without some kind of fucking aid. I mean, half the time, I got a metabolic rate of a 20-year-old because of this. The metabolic rate of a 51-year-old... I'm 51, actually, aren't I? I think I'm 51. 50,
you don't even know how old
you are. I don't know. I don't give a fuck. Biologically, I feel like I'm a lot older.
You are 51, yeah.
51, yeah.
Because you were born in 1969.
Yeah.
And it's 2020.
As much as I lift, as hard as I work out to the fucking bone. It would take me 2 weeks to fucking heal up after that.
And seriously, you moan enough taking the shit.
Man. Yeah.
Oh.
I'm sore, rolling over in bed going,
you guys.
God. Yeah.
Constantly moaning.
Because the more muscle you have, the more you have to work it out, and the more it takes to fucking tear it all up to fix it. And then, you know what I mean? You only got one metabolism, but you got 4 times the amount of muscle you had 3 or 4 years ago. You got to heal it up. It's a lot of it. You guys are, look, man, I haven't giving away too many goddamn secrets to you people. All right, this is shit that you should have a fucking trainer to teach you all this shit. All right, it's all out there now. It's all out in the open. Fucking, they used to have dudes like me on fucking Hollywood, and they look at that muscle man or whatever. They were fucking much bigger than me, and it was a secret. How'd that fucker get so big? That's all on YouTube now and Instagram. They'll tell you. You get big by fucking lifting lots of weight, a lot of it. You tear the shit out of yourself, and then you just heal up, and it gets bigger. But
you just lay around and go...
Lay around, sit around and eat like a damn lion and resting and just growing like a lion, you know? You become a lion motherfucker. It's sexy as shit. It is. I was a lion motherfucker, though, years back, though. That's not the kind of lion I'm talking about. Sitting around like a fucking tiger, just growing and fucking...
That's what he would do. He would go to the Chinese buffet. We would go to the Chinese buffet.
Yeah.
I would eat like a couple plates and be like, man, I'm going to throw up. I can't eat anymore.
Yeah.
He would go eat sushi. He did a big pile of like shrimp. He did all this stuff. I'm like and I'd be like looking at him across the table. Where are you putting that?
Yeah.
I'm like,
shrimp is pure protein.
I'm gonna barf if I eat anymore.
Shrimp is pure protein. It's very low calorie. You eat. I tried to eat like fucking 5 pounds of shrimp. Those Chinese saw me coming there like, put the sign up. Put the sign up. No, closed. Because they know I'm gonna fucking break the bank.
That's what I mean.
I'm gonna eat all the shrimp. All the boiled shrimp.
Well, you better save some for me, motherfucker.
You know, I was sitting there eating.
I want some shrimp and some scallops. I'm risking the fucking diseases you get from it.
But what I was saying is that it's all out there and open now to destigmatize. It's just modern technology.
Everything's in the open.
And there's a big difference between abuse and use of these kind of compounds. No, I don't.
Same with everything.
Yeah. You jump on gear at fucking 15, you're just roided the fuck out. You'll get fucking huge in a few years. You will be fucked up by 30, mostly. All right, But you can do it the Jack LaLanne way, where you fucking stay healthy and you're not really doing much. You're just working out until you get old, and then you just use the shit for therapeutics to maintain, which is more what I do. All right, and fucking Jack LaLanne lived to his early 90s, and he looked good all the way to his 90s. There's a way to prolong shit. So that's what I'm doing. I'm not trying to fucking kill myself with it. I'm just trying to prolong and increase the quality of life during these last 30 years, you know.
Can I just say, like, you just reminded me because you said about Jack LaLanne and he was died in his 90s?
Yeah.
Can I just say, shout out and R.I.P. to James Randi, who just died.
Oh, he died? Yeah.
At the age of 92. Not a bodybuilder, not a little bitty dude.
Paranormal skeptic.
Well, a magician.
And
he was a magician.
Yeah.
And look up some pictures of James Randi when he was young. He was a pretty foxy motherfucker, I gotta tell you.
He was gay, though. He would be interesting.
He was gay, yeah.
He was gay.
Well, he didn't come out. It's sad because he didn't come out until he was old. Until he was probably, like, in his 80s. Which I don't know why, but yeah, he didn't.
Yeah.
But yeah, he just recently died. I saw it in Skeptic Magazine just, like, earlier today.
Yeah.
And that bums me out because, like, I read a lot of his books. And he's, like, so cantankerous. And it's, like, I loved him so much. And I love that he always, like, called out all this fucking fake preachers and all his televangelists and shit. But yeah, he just passed away. So, all right. So basically, like I said, they found like 3 more bottles of Tylenol still on the shelves, like little ticking time bombs that had like poison in them. But as I said, they didn't really have a lot of leads, so it's like the investigation kind of went fallow. Now let's talk about the suspects. Now we're going to go back and talk about this dude, James William Lewis, the dude that sent like the extortion letter to Johnson & Johnson demanding $1 million for stopping the killings. Now, they actually identified him because of fingerprints on the letter, like matched him, and he had been arrested for some other shit earlier on. Now, him and his wife were living in New York City when he was arrested. Now, he did eventually get convicted. He didn't get convicted of the Tylenol poisonings, obviously. But he did get convicted of extortion because that is also illegal. So he actually ended up serving 13 years in prison on that charge. Now, he got released in 2009. Now, the FBI and the Department of Justice and everybody, they did investigate him for the poisonings. And investigators are divided over whether they think he actually had anything to do with it or not. Like, it seems like half of them say, like, yeah, we think he did it, but we don't have enough evidence. The other half are like, no, not so much. It's not, like, really his MO. He was just, like, taking, the opportunity to, like, take advantage and get some money out of it. Now, in January of 2010, Lewis and his wife both gave DNA samples and fingerprints and everything like that to the authorities. And I don't think they found anything in particular that they could use in this case. However, here is something that I found out that I didn't actually know when I first researched this case, but makes me a little more likely to think that maybe he had some shit to do with this. So James Lewis, he had his wife named Leanne. Now, they had run a tax business, like they did people's taxes, in Kansas City in the early 1970s. Now, they were suspected, actually, in another murder. Now, this happened, they had a friend and a client of theirs, like a guy that came and they did his taxes. This guy was like an older dude, and he was named Raymond West. Now, this happened in, I believe, 1973 and 1974. So, they lived near this dude. He was kind of like their neighbor. And so the dude, Raymond West, like, disappears. And his friends are like, where did Raymond West go? We don't really know. So the Lewises say, oh, he said he was going to the Ozarks for a vacation, and he's not going to be back for a little while, right?
Yeah.
But so his other friends and family, they're not buying that, because they're like, the Lewis said, he's like, oh, he met this woman and he went off and his friends are like, yeah, no, he's like a lifelong bachelor. He would have told us if that would have happened. So they thought that was suspicious. So they call the cops. Now the cops go to the house and they find a note stuck on the front door that says, and the note is on the Lewis's business stationery. Cause like I said, they had a tax business. Now the note says, contact Jim, that'd be James Lewis, who was the main suspect in the Tylenol poisonings. Call him, like, if you need to know where Raymond is, because he told me, because Ray's out of town and he, like, I'm taking all his messages. So the police were like, okay, fair enough. The door was locked, so they didn't have any cause to go in, so they didn't. So a bunch of friends after that were just kind of like, dude, did you really buy that? It's like, he wouldn't do that. He wouldn't go out of town without telling us. So the cops go back to the house. And in the meantime, it looked like somebody else had been in there, because they were like, oh, well, the bedroom, the shades on the bedroom window were open previously because they'd looked in there and the bed was unmade and everything. But now they went back to the house and the shades were down and like some other shit was changed like on the outside of the house. So they're like, okay, well, obviously somebody's been here. So the cops go in the house and they find a note on the coffee table that says, please don't disturb until after 1 o'clock. Sleeping late, Raymond. Now, the police, like, kind of looked around and they're like, okay, I guess everything's copacetic. They didn't see anything. But again, friends were very suspicious because they're like, look, 1, that's not his handwriting. 2, he didn't go by Raymond. He goes by Ray. He wouldn't have signed anything Raymond because that's not how he referred to himself. So the cops leave again. At this point, Ray's got 2 friends named Jack and Charles, and they're like, look, this is bullshit. We're going to the house and we're changing the locks. So they go and change the locks on the house. Now, at this point, James Lewis, the suspect, he comes by the house and he's like, what the hell are you guys doing? They're like, what does it look like we're doing? We're changing the locks on our friend's house because somebody's obviously been in here. And they said then that James Lewis, like, pulled his car, like, over into an alley, like, behind this truck and was, like, watching them until they were, like, done doing it, which, again, seems very suspicious. So, at this point, like, the friends are like, okay, they call the cops again because they think something weird is going on. So the cops finally go inside the house after Jack and Charles are like, look, we went into the house, we smelled something weird that smelled kind of like a dead person, and we found what looked like dried blood on a sheet. So please come in here and investigate more thoroughly this time. So finally the cops come in and they look around the house. One of the cops looks up and sees like a foot-long stain on the ceiling. So they go up into the attic and they find Raymond West's body decomposed and also dismembered.
Damn.
Somebody had cut him into pieces.
That's how they got him up there.
He had been gone. He had been missing for 21 days, for 3 weeks at this point.
Yeah, that's how they got him up there. They got him up there in pieces.
Maybe, although there was a lot of blood like all over the floor, so they might have done it up there. So at this point, the cops are like, okay, so James Lewis, like I said, suspect in the Tylenol poisonings, was acting very suspicious, being like, yeah, he told me like he was going out of town and you guys should contact me in case you needed to talk to him or whatever. So that seemed a little fishy. Also, he had cashed a $5,000 check that was supposedly from Raymond West, which he later said was a business loan, which a lot of the friends were like, yeah, no, he was like really cheap. He would never give somebody $5,000 for a business loan, much less his tax guy. So suspicious. So the cops arrest James Lewis. And like I said, this is the early 70s. This is like 9 or 10 years before the Tylenol poisonings. So James Lewis gets arrested. Now he denied killing Raymond West. What ended up happening, even though they had a lot of physical evidence, kind of making it seem like maybe this dude and his wife had like killed this guy so they could like get all his money and they'd cut him up and like left him in the attic. Somebody did not read James Lewis his Miranda rights, like when they arrested him, and there were like some other shit. So basically he kind of got off on a technicality. So he got released. Now, this is like, there's a whole complicated thing. It's like, I read this whole article. There's an article in the Chicago Reader called A Bitter Pill, written by Jay Bergman, where they kind of go way more into like James Lewis's history. And like I said, I didn't know that he was like the main suspect in this other murder before because when I was reading about the Chicago Tylenol murders and they said, well, this guy was the guy that sent the extortion letter, which they knew because of the fingerprints, but I didn't know that he was suspected of this other horrible murder, that he had murdered this guy that was like his tax client, or allegedly murdered this guy that was his tax client, and then started to try to like cash checks like from his account. Okay. So that seems to make it a little more likely to me that he maybe was the dude that did the Tylenol poisonings. I'm not really sure.
He was branching out, huh?
Perhaps.
He had a couple different routines he'd do.
Yeah.
Although that's not unusual, the people that put that bomb on that dude's neck,
Yeah.
We're doing more than one thing. Mm-hmm. Maybe he just thought he was fucking... Maybe he thought he was the Joker.
It's like an early days of the gig economy. You're just kind of trying to, like, make money however you make money. Yeah. I don't know, man. But it's like... So the thing is, so even though James Lewis, the only thing he was convicted of in relation to the Tylenol poisonings was extortion, because they did get him on that. But they couldn't prove that he was the dude that actually poisoned the pills, even though the extortion letters were, I have to say, they're kind of detailed about how he went about poisoning the shit. Like, because in the letters it talks about how easy it was to do. I can do it in 10 minutes. I can do it in my car, like that kind of stuff. So I feel like, and so like when I first read about this, I was like, well, I don't know, maybe he's just like some psycho. But when I read about this other shit, that maybe he had killed like this dude that was a client and like cashed checks like from his fucking shit, like that kind of makes it more likely to me that maybe he was involved in this as well.
Is that all you got on him?
I mean, yeah, pretty much. Like I said, if you really want to, like, because it's kind of outside of the scope of the topic, but if you want to like read into like his whole history, like him and his wife and like all the shit they got up to, there's a really good like feature article in Chicago Reader. It's on their website and it's called The Bitter Pill. If you want to go read that, it goes like really, really in depth into like that whole situation and like the murder and everything.
Were there any other suspects?
There were.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was like the main suspect. Like I said, investigators are divided over whether they know he did the extortion.
Now, did he look like he could have been the man with the beard in the damn video, though?
It's possible.
Okay.
Because the thing about it is that in the video, like the dude, he had a beard and it was like a shitty video. That kind of could have been anybody. You know what I'm saying?
You know how you could get him today? Gait recognition, if you got him on video walking.
That's what I'm saying. Nowadays, they would have got him.
Yeah.
But back then, you know.
A lot of people don't know that, but your walk is totally individual.
Well, it is. And like I said, if I know you well, I can recognize you from across the fucking room, because it's like...
They evidently have some AI programs where you could put yourself in any kind of disguise you want and fucking as far away as you want, and that fucking computer can recognize you just by the way you walk. It's an individual signature. That's another fucking spooky thing.
Well, everything about you
when I go outside, I'm gonna be wearing a fucking poncho, a tarp. I don't want them even seeing me.
Why don't you just put a sheet over your head and pretend you're a ghost?
No, then the bitches try to kill you because they think you're in the Klan. Can't do that.
Well, you can just be a ghost. It doesn't have to be pointed on the top.
All right. Actually, it depends on which clan you're talking about. The whole pointed thing, that was the third clan. That was the third and second and third clan.
Yeah, but that's what most people
The first clan was just dudes in regular clothes with a fucking white bag over their head tied around them, circles cut in.
Like Jason in the second Friday the 13th.
Yeah, with their hats on. Yeah.
Or like the Phantom Killer from the 1940s.
Yeah, that was an 1800s clan. They were just in ghost costumes.
But like I said, I think most people associate the pointed hood with the Klan.
The new Klan.
Which, like I said, if you walk around with that outside nowadays, you deserve to get your fucking ass kicked. But yeah, so I feel like that's kind of like, that dude's kind of like the main suspect, because like I said, he served 13 years for the extortion, but they didn't have enough evidence to prove that he did the actual poisoning. Although, once I heard about like the murder that happened in the 70s, I was kind of like, okay, well, that makes that more likely, I think, but I don't really know. So, one of their other suspects was this dude named Roger Arnold. This is also a very interesting and a very tragic kind of shit that happened. So, this dude, Roger Arnold, now he gets identified and he gets investigated. Now, he eventually gets cleared. However, because he had so much like media attention surrounding him, because this was like a fucking huge case. It was like everywhere in the media, like in 1982. So he ends up having a nervous breakdown. Now, after he had the nervous breakdown, he started blaming everything on this dude named Marty Sinclair, who owned the bar where this dude went to, because apparently how he got in trouble and how he got investigated was because he had been at a bar one night and he'd been drinking, and he said that he had cyanide or he could get cyanide, or he said something like that. He said like something suspicious, like about the crimes, or was like talking about him a lot. And apparently somebody at the bar turned him in to the police because he was talking about it. So he, for whatever reason, blamed the bar owner, Marty Sinclair, for getting him into trouble. And he decided he was going to kill that motherfucker. Except what ended up happening was that in the summer of 1983, Roger Arnold waits outside of the place and shoots and kills a dude that he thinks is Marty Sinclair, but it's not. It's a completely innocent dude named John Stanisha, who just happened to kind of look like that guy and got killed for absolutely no reason at all.
Damn.
So Roger Arnold, even though he apparently didn't have anything to do with the Tylenol killings, he actually did get convicted of shooting this random guy that he thought was somebody else. Not like it would have been better if he just shot the other guy, because that dude was innocent too. So he gets convicted in 84, and he actually ended up serving 15 years of a 30-year sentence. That was second-degree murder, and he ended up dying in June 2008. Another suspect they were looking at was this woman named Lori Dan. Now, in May 1988, she apparently had gone on this weird rampage where she was shooting random people and also poisoning random people, which is very weird for a woman to be doing. I think this is maybe one of the only cases of a woman doing this that I've ever heard of.
Bitch went crazy.
I mean, that's a man thing.
Yeah.
Like, just going around, like, shooting random people.
Yeah.
That's very rare to hear of a woman doing that. So, yeah, but
she'd had enough.
I guess. But yeah,
they were bad.
I guess.
Yeah.
That was in Winnetka, Illinois. Yeah. So they thought, well, she's poisoned some people. Maybe she's a suspect. But eventually they thought maybe that wasn't her. Because like I said, this is a very particular... Random poisonings, that's a very particular kind of pathology. You know what I mean?
It's kind of like a bomber. Like a serial bomber.
It is.
Very similar type of profile. When I hear of a fucking crime like that, I'm gonna put it along the side. You know, I have a background in fucking PBI, which is post blast investigation. I worked for a company that trained people on how to fucking do the forensics at crime scenes. All right, about fucking after explosions. I know about the bombs and how to figure out who made a bomb or what the bomb was after it went off. But not too much in the psychology, just a bit of psychology when it comes to a bomber. And usually, like, the main thing, one of the main traits of a fucking serial bomber is that he, under no circumstances, wants to get caught. Ain't that something? Yeah. He don't want to get caught. That's why he's bombing. It's a lot harder to fucking get caught if you're a bomber.
It is, yeah.
Look at it this way. Look at how easy it is to be a mass shooter.
Yeah.
How easy it is to be caught if you're a mass shooter. A mass shooter's gonna get caught. Or he's gonna die, or both. Okay? They want the same thing. They want to kill a whole bunch of fucking people, but the difference is that a mass bomber or a serial bomber does not want to be caught. That's not part of his psychology. Poisoning something on a store shelf is real close to making a bomb.
It's more terrorism than serial killing.
You can do it and not get caught. You're trying to evade capture so you can continue doing it. And like you said, then there's the psychological fucking power that you have over the masses. You know what I mean? You do this shit, you never know when the motherfucker's going to strike. He's invisible. You can't catch him, and he can send messages forever to the cops and be heard. That's what it seems like. But did this guy ever try to communicate?
No, not that I'm aware of. Other than, unless it was James Lewis, in which case he sent that extortion letter, which they caught him for. If he was the one that actually poisoned the pills, which he may have been, then he communicated in that way by trying to get $1 million out of Johnson & Johnson for stopping poisoning their shit.
You see, I'm not really buying that.
I don't know.
not
I'm
really
just
buying
saying,
it.
I think that, like, me finding out that he had actually been involved, like, been a suspect in another murder, like, 10 years prior, that makes him, like, maybe more likely, because he actually maybe, possibly, allegedly did kill a dude.
And it was only Tylenol? How many different batches of Tylenol did he poison?
Well, it was, the thing about it is that they found, as far as I know, I think they found, excuse me, they found, like, 6 to 8 different bottles, like in different stores. So it was somebody that was going to different stores. They were all like around Chicago though, like in that area.
And it was Tylenol.
Yeah.
So
extra strength Tylenol.
extra strength Tylenol.
Yeah. All of them.
Now, when he bought the extra strength Tylenol to poison, did he buy it all at once? Do they know that?
Well, no, because it was from different stores.
It's from different stores.
So I don't know if he, well, because here's the thing.
So for some reason
He might have either bought them, he might have stolen them. He might have bought or stolen them from one store, taken them to his car or to his house, poisoned them, because like I said, all you had to do was pull the capsule apart and put cyanide in there, put the capsule back together, put it back in the bottle, and no one would know any difference because there was no packaging. And then you would just go back in the store and sneak it onto the
What's odd
shelves.
is that it's all Tylenol.
Yeah.
I would think that it'd be more, although maybe not, because if you did random items, possibly you wouldn't be labeled as the same person.
Well, because
Maybe
it wouldn't be,
it wouldn't be a signature.
Right.
Maybe he wanted the signature. You see, here's the deal. I don't really think that he had anything against the Tylenol company.
No, that was just something that...
That's just what he used. He wanted notoriety, and he must have wanted to give some kind of a message, but they never really got it. I don't think it was money. It was power. That's what he wanted. He wanted to say something in the way a serial killer wants to say something when they kill a person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kind of like the Zodiac. Remember the Zodiac?
Yeah.
I picture him being a guy kind of like the Zodiac. But for some reason or another, they never got any communication from him. Maybe he killed himself.
I kind of feel like this is, like I said, this is more like a terrorist kind of mindset than a serial killer kind of. Because serial killers generally, not always, but like serial killers, they're kind of into the kill. It's more of a sexual or like a sensual kind of thing. Whereas I feel like this one was more like he was getting off
on that damn power,
on causing random, like, I'll just kill random people. Nobody will know who it will be, so everyone will be afraid. So it was more like a terroristic
and
type
he's getting off on the fact
motive.
He's getting off on the fact that he's not there. He's doing this shit remotely, without any effort.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's not getting off on the
and
I'm on top of you with the fucking knife plunging you.
And apparently it's like, well, and I think that he got off too, like, you know, I don't know. I'm not the dude. He
sees himself as a criminal mastermind.
Yeah, I definitely think that. But I think that he's thinking, look how easy it is to disrupt the entire, like, operation of, like, look how easy it is for me to, like, kill random people. Look how easy it is for me to, like, make everyone in the country afraid.
Yeah.
You know, look how easy it is for me to get millions of dollars worth of product, like, recalled. Yeah. Like, cause this big fucking terror, like, across the country. Look how easy that is. I think that's
what he originally wanted was to do something kind of like the Zodiac, where he would give a message and be able to communicate. Or something kind of like Dennis Rader, where he would give a message and talk to the cops and communicate. Because that's part of their gloating.
Yeah.
That boosts their ego. The cops are talking to me because I'm a criminal mastermind. I'm the fucking Joker.
Yeah.
That's basically what you're dealing with.
Yeah, they all think that.
But for some reason or other, he stopped. Either it wasn't satisfying, he stopped. And you know what I mean? It itched, it scratched the itch. So he's like, okay, that wasn't very satisfying, and he stopped. Or he killed himself.
Or it could be that it was James Lewis, and he stopped because he got put in prison for the extortion.
I don't see this as an extortion. I don't think he was trying to extort. Maybe.
Well, yeah, maybe. But maybe it could be both things. Like, maybe it could have been like he got off on doing that, and then he's like, hey, I'm going to make $1 million out of this also, like, on top of it.
Maybe, but I kind of, just off the top of my head, what I've imagined the kind of guy that does this. He doesn't want money. He wants to talk. He doesn't want to get caught. He wants to be heard, and he wants to talk. He wants the attention. He wants to gloat.
Yeah.
But that didn't happen.
These are people
but
that
kind of that kind of crime fits that kind of personality. Even the Unabomber.
Well, that's what I was going to talk about next, because the Unabomber was also considered a suspect in this series of crimes.
All right, yeah. Because the Unabomber likes to kill remotely.
Yeah.
And then be heard. And kind of gloat over the fact that I have the power to kill a person remotely. You better fucking listen to what I got to say.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of why, because his MO was very similar, the FBI did look into Ted Kaczynski, the Unabomber, in case you guys didn't know, as a suspect in the Tylenol murders. And in an actual fact, in 2011, they asked for a DNA sample from him. But now Ted Kaczynski has denied. He's like, I never had anything to do with potassium cyanide. I never did that. But some people have pointed out, they're like, look, the weird thing about it is that even though... So Ted Kaczynski's parents lived in Lombard, Illinois in 1982, which was like right in the middle of where all the poisonings took place. Also, which I think is something, again, that a lot of people don't know, there was another Tylenol poisoning of like one guy in another city that was like halfway between Chicago and the Unabomber's cabin in Montana that happened like a little bit later. So the FBI were looking into it because they're like, this is a very similar thing to, like you said, like a mail bomber. This is like somebody that enjoys like killing people like remotely, like not being there and having that kind of power over them. So they also looked into, and this seems like kind of a reach, but maybe not, that Ted Kaczynski seemed to have this weird obsession with the word wood and like wood adjacent kind of terms. Like
wood as in tree wood?
Yeah.
Okay.
So like one of his aliases was like, the last name was Wood, and like all of his like the fake addresses he would use like on the like the bombs that he would send
Ted were like that wood.
Were like Woodlawn Avenue, like Wood. Yeah, it was like that kind of thing. And interestingly, like both the dudes that founded Johnson & Johnson, their middle name was Wood, which some people have pointed out as like, maybe that was kind of a thing. Like, because he had like some weird kind of...
Well, Ted was a certain kind of guy.
Crazy.
And I don't think he did this. He was crazy, but the guy was fucking highly educated. Where did he go? I think he went to Harvard?
Berkeley.
Berkeley, is that what it was? Berkeley?
He was a mathematician.
Yeah, and... there's some people that say that he was kind of that he had been involved in some of those CIA LSD experiments and some of those MK Ultra experiments, that he actually volunteered for all that. So maybe that had something to do with it. But from what I remember of Ted Kaczynski's fucking manifesto, a lot of the shit that he said in that wasn't stupid. He was talking about the rise of AI and all kinds of stuff that's happening now. And shit that was happening to the ecology of the earth. He was a fucking environmentalist, really. He was an environmental terrorist. That was his main thing. And he was going after the heads of industry that they were, destroying the earth. But what was weird is that from what I remember correctly, some of you guys maybe in the audience might correct me, I thought he was, if I remember correctly, been a long time since I read that shit, I think he was talking about the rise of AI algorithms and fucking like a technocracy, which that is kind of happening through the internet. Because that was all pre-internet, that what he was talking about. That humans would be controlled by algorithms and fucking, that they'd be controlled by seeking out the weaknesses in their psychology, and could be showed certain things by AI, which would make them easier to control. That's just, I haven't thought of that dude in years. That was just based on memory. So there was something to the guy. He was intelligent.
Yeah. He wasn't a dummy, for sure. Yeah.
It's just, I think that's a little bit of an overreaction. He was saying this is the only way he could fight the rising technocracy and threat of AI and industrialism, and that he was going to do this. That's why he refused. He refused to say that he was insane. They tried to get him to do all that.
To be honest, it's sad because people that are, he was like obviously highly intelligent, but sometimes people that are that highly intelligent, sometimes they have like schizophrenic type of shit too.
Let me mention something else about intelligence. I was in the direct sell business, and I did notice that I fucking sold in Wellesley, Massachusetts, that was the fucking best sales territory the fucking company I worked for could possibly be in. It was the top income bracket of the United States, man. Fucking Wellesley College, it's where Hillary Clinton went, was right across the street from my fucking office in Wellesley. All of the fucking founding families, the fucking Rockefellers and the Vanderbilts and shit, came from that area. It was nothing but mansions. I would sell fucking central fucking vacuum cleaner systems and shit, floor care and fucking carpet shampoo fucking equipment to these rich people. And I found that the more intelligent and the more wealthy a person was, the easier it was to sell things to them. Because they had imaginations that sales techniques could work on. They had that you could play on their self-interest, and they were agreeable. You could use their politeness against them, all right, through Robert L. Shook's hardball sales techniques, which you guys could look those up. Those worked real well on very intelligent rich people. They did not work well on fucking dumb people. That was like trying to sell to a shark, all right? And sharks don't have any intelligence, and sharks won't buy anything. Jenny and I sometimes get into it, sometimes out of the show. The more educated and the more intelligent a person is in these universities and stuff, and when they get out, usually the more apt they are to believe in things that are fucking not true. Because they don't really have street wisdom. And their intelligence, you can dazzle their intelligence and get them to believe into things that aren't going to happen. It's like a strength and a weakness in the same time, because this person can imagine something that might happen because it should, but at the same time, you as an average person or slightly above average people know that it's a pipe dream. It just seems that, and I don't know how I got on this fucking situation. It had to do with this fucking bomber. I'm drunk and I went down a fucking flight path. But I think that's what happened to Ted Kaczynski. That's what it was. Ted Kaczynski was very intelligent, and he let his imagination run away with him. That's what I think happened to him.
Well, I don't even know if it's that. I think that people that are like stupid intelligent, like I'm talking about like really, really like way above average human intelligence. I think that kind of genetically goes hand in hand with particular types of mental illness.
Yeah.
Because in my experience and in all science and poll numbers and everything experience, generally the more educated you are, the less likely you are to fall for stupid shit. So take that as you will, but I'm just saying that like sometimes people that are like really, really, really super intelligent, sometimes that goes like all the way around and becomes like not stupid necessarily, but where to a point where they're not really like in reality anymore because they're not like relating to like regular people anymore. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree.
So it is kind of like a handicap in a way.
Yeah, that's what I saw.
But that's like people that are like ridiculous intelligent.
Yeah. That's what I saw working in Wellesley. I'd run across some people that were in what ended up being in the tech industry, and very poor social skills, very weird, you know what I mean? And like almost autistic. Like high-functioning autistic people.
Victor said, most of the people sharing conspiracy theories on my Facebook are dumb as shit. I will agree.
Yeah.
I will agree.
Yeah, well, yeah. This didn't have anything to do with conspiracy theories, though.
No, but I'm just saying that, like, I do feel like there's
what Kaczynski was talking about was not a conspiracy theory. He was talking about the direction in which civilization was going towards because of the technology. He didn't like it. He thought it was anti-human.
Right, but it's like...
So...
But the thing about it is that you can be right about some things and still be nuts. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In a stopped clock is right twice a day type of way.
Yeah, but that's not what Ted was. Ted was intelligent, didn't like what was happening, and he was it was a one-man war to try to stop it. That's what he was trying to do.
Yeah, but he went about it in the stupidest way possible. So he obviously
he killed a bunch of people before they caught him.
Yeah, but they still caught him. And his own brother turned him in.
Yeah, but he was willing to die for that shit, and he was not bullshitting. I mean, the dude lived in a fucking cabin without any electricity.
Yeah, I mean he lived. He did have his conviction. He lived
like an American Indian.
Sure.
Okay, so he was serious about what he was saying. He just believed in. Like I said before, early on, like Obi-Wan Kenobi said, many of the things we believe in depend upon a certain point of view. The Japanese ultranationalists believed in the Japan that they envisioned so much that they threw their airplanes on the decks of fucking American fucking aircraft carriers, dying in the flames. Were they stupid or crazy? No, not at all. They were trying to defend the Japanese homeland and their families back in the fucking homeland for what they believed in. So, I understand civilians get wrapped up in that. But, were they right? Yeah, they were right. They were right.
Well, from their perspective.
From their point of view, they were right. But
that's the thing. Everybody has their own reasons for doing shit.
Right. But
like, if you're a
let me take it a little bit further. Yeah, he was right for throwing the plane onto the American aircraft carrier. But had he waited, all that shit would have worked out eventually anyway, but they didn't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because Japan, for a while, dominated the fucking exports. Their companies kicked ass, with cars and technology. So in a way, their fears were a little bit overblown. But they didn't know. And that's the story of history. Ted Kaczynski. I'm not even sure that dude is wrong, what he believed. He might be right. What he was talking about, from what I remember, that might actually come true. But that might take centuries, what he's talking about.
But, like, blowing up innocent people, that's, like...
He said they weren't innocent because they owned these industries that were doing all this.
Right, I gotcha, but,
So... It all depends on your certain point of view.
Well, the thing about it is
it's
that...
It's the same thing those animal rights activists do
when
they attack furriers or when they attack... It's that same thing.
Humans are imperfect.
Yeah.
We don't know what's going to happen in the future. You don't know, like, all of the circumstances that are going to come about in the future. It's like you taking out one innocent person. Now, it may seem like a good idea. Like, hey, let's kill this person and then I'll solve everything. But it's like you don't know what is going to happen in the wake of that. Nobody knows.
Right.
Because we're just humans and we're
we're
just meat puppets.
I understand that, but I counter what you're saying this way. The same argument could be had of, well, maybe we shouldn't have done anything to stop the Nazis because we didn't know the future. Maybe after the Holocaust a good thing would have happened.
Well, no, because
that's another way of fucking looking at it.
Yeah, but you already know what they were doing. You already know what they were doing.
No. We declared war on them and started fighting them before we knew about the Holocaust.
Anybody that has ideological views that are like, hey, these types of people are bad, we just like wipe them all out, you should just like, yeah, no, that's not acceptable. Not acceptable. And I'm just saying that an individual person, like Ted Kaczynski say, I just feel like you just don't have enough foreknowledge. Even if you're right about some shit, even if he was right about, the technocracy or whatever, even if he was right about that, taking out the people that he took out, you don't know if those people had any effect on what he was even talking about, even if he was right. You know what I mean? He's just one dude. He doesn't know.
It's just like military campaigns. He did the same thing militaries do, okay? They don't know either when they target an enemy. or an enemy leader or an enemy fucking fuel depot. They don't know either. It's an ongoing campaign. All right. So I understand it. It's somebody trying to...
Sure. I mean, you can only operate on like what knowledge you have at the moment. I get that, which, you know.
Do I agree with it? Would I have done it? No. No. But you try to put yourself in the place of a crazy motherfucker and see things the way they're trying to see it. If not, you will never understand it. And it has to do with in human nature. To be able to do that helps you resonate with humans and their nature of what they are. Never try to make a human being more than what they are. We're an animalistic species. We are animals.
Right, but that's not something to aspire to either. You shouldn't want to like act like a fucking animal. Like, no insult to animals.
Well, nobody's saying that. It's just things are limited.
Well, sure, I know that.
People act in their own interest. They try to fucking...
Sure, I know that.
They try to stop things that they think are bad. They try to create things that they think are good. And no one agrees on any of this shit, so you're going to have conflict.
The problem is, that no one has that much foresight because you don't know.
Right.
I mean, there's like 7 billion of us, or however many of us there are on the earth, like in addition to all the other animals, in addition to all the other like shit that we can't control, happening.
I think I was kind of gifted with being fucked up. Being able to fucking understand, to try to put myself in the shoes of even people that are kind of fucked up. You know what I mean? I know when somebody's wrong, but I can see the error, some of their errors. You know what I mean? Sometimes I do, like when they're killing children and shit, I'm going, motherfucker, you gotta die, But I kind of understand more of these guys like Kaczynski. He thinks he's doing the right thing. Even if he was very intelligent. He might be like, well, yeah, maybe these guys that I'm striking, taking them out won't stop this, but it will cause public awareness to fucking, what I'm telling you, like a PR campaign.
Yeah, but all it did was cause public awareness that Ted Kaczynski is a wacko.
Yeah.
So good job.
Yeah, but it was a long time ago. Had that happened now with the internet, with a greater understanding, who knows? You might have had, say, like Antifa or BLM going, yeah, he's right. It might have been very different.
No. I don't think that would have happened. I think everybody would have still thought he was a wacko. You would have more people saying he was a wacko, and also you would have like a contingent of like people going, yeah, like, just like all those fucking idiots that think like Elliot Rodger is a fucking hero.
Who's Elliot Rodger?
That dude that like shot up all those women because no one would date him.
Oh, that dude. Yeah.
You know he's a hero, right?
Mr. Pretty Man?
To a particular segment.
That's got to be trolling.
4chan.
That's got to be trolling.
No, he's got like a whole fan club.
It's got to be trolling.
He's got a whole fan club.
Well, okay. Oh, what's his name? Vampire Killer. My old fucking boss.
Who, Rod Farrell?
Rod Farrell, yeah. I worked for the fucking woman who defended Rod Farrell for a little while. Fucking Vampire Killer. I saw his fucking case files and shit early on during part of his incarceration. Some people think Rod Farrell's a fucking
There's no
hero.
one so fucked up that
Rod
someone
Farrell's fucked up. He's fucking crazy.
That someone won't laud him for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Because people are...
Well, there's always going to be a segment.
Because people are messed up. People are messed up.
Yeah.
People are messed up and stupid. But yeah, so that's always going to happen. But so, now, before we get off on this whole tangent, like, Ted Kaczynski, I can understand why the FBI would look at him for these types of murders, because it was a similar MO. Like I said, it was like random kind of shit. But I don't know. Is it necessarily random? Because Ted Kaczynski did seem to like target particular people, even though he worked from a distance. This seemed to be like, I'm just going to put poison on the shelves and I don't care who takes it. So this seemed even more like a terroristic type of act, because he didn't really care who took the Tylenol. He just wanted to engender fear in the populace. You know what I'm saying? He didn't really particularly care who he took out on the way out. It wasn't targeted. So I don't necessarily think that Ted Kaczynski had anything to do with this, although I can see why the FBI would examine him on those counts. Now, interestingly, because Johnson & Johnson were so on the ball with this, because like I said, only a couple of days after the murders, they were pretty much on it, and they were just like, look, we're gonna like take all the shit off the shelves. They immediately like stopped all advertising. They did like pretty much everything they could do to safeguard the public, you know, within reason. And so it does seem like about like, you know, their shares dropped to like what, 8% of the market. Like before that they had been, I believe, 35% of the market. So during this crisis dropped to 8%. However, about a year later, they were back up to, thank you, Hayden. Oh my goodness, thank you very, very much. That's awesome. They were pretty much back up to like the top of the market again.
Thanks, bro.
Just because the public perceived them as like, you know, acting immediately in the public interest and like immediately taking shit off the shelves and like acting to like prevent further damage. So they seem to do a good job PR wise in, you know, mitigating the damage from this. So they did actually, I mean, a lesser company, if you'd reacted wrong, I mean, would have been put out of business by this kind of shit, right? Because everybody would be like terrified to take your shit. So the fact that that didn't happen is kind of a credit. And I believe, I'm not sure, but I believe that they're still like teaching this kind of shit in business schools as to like when a crisis happens with your company, like this is how you react. So they seem to do the right thing. Now, most people say that. However, there have been some books out lately that there was one called The Tylenol Mafia. It was self-published. You know, I'm not shitting on that, but I'm just like mentioning it. But that said that maybe this, what are you doing?
Don't worry about it.
Oh, you're
okay.
You're messing up my stuff. He's like, I don't know what you're doing. You're pushing my shit. That mentioned that maybe this was a Johnson & Johnson employee and they were like covering it up, or somehow like this happened at the manufacturing level or at the factory or something, and they were like covering it up because they didn't want to like say, and so they were like attributing it to some random psycho because they didn't want to get in trouble or whatever. But I don't know if I really buy that, because like I said, because of the way that cyanide reacts with the capsules, that after 48, 72 hours, it would have like eaten the capsules away, and they didn't really find that. So I feel like the shit was put into the capsules like very, very shortly before they found the shit on the shelves, which leads me to believe that it was not put in there in the factories. You know what I'm saying? So, as I said, now this case has not been solved. They never did find the person that did any of this, sadly. Well, okay, before that, happily, like I said, this led to an industry-wide change. This was the start of like caplets instead of capsules. This was the start of all the fucking packaging that you see nowadays of like the shit around the caps, the foil, all that stuff. That came into being like they have like 3-4 levels of like shit you have to go through, so packages can't be adulterated. So this was the start of all that. And as I said, they passed a law that made product tampering like a federal offense, so you can get like in a lot more trouble for doing this kind of shit. Now, sadly though, there were, of course, because people suck, copycat attacks after this case, because this was a massive media case all over the country. So there were a whole bunch of copycat cases that took place afterward. And in fact, even though everybody talks about the 7 Tylenol cases, there were also in 1986, like a few years afterward, there were 3 people killed in 1986 after like some gelatin capsules there had been adulterated with poison. Also, there was a woman who died in Yonkers, New York, after taking an extra strength Tylenol capsule that was also laced with cyanide, which was apparently not related to this initial case. Now, here's another case that this is interesting because this was the first case that was prosecuted under these new laws that came about because of the Tylenol poisonings, where they, made product tampering a federal offense. So this happened in Washington State. Now, this was not Tylenol capsules, it was Excedrin capsules. Now, this was the deaths of Susan Snow and Bruce Nickel. Now, they both took Excedrin and they both died also from cyanide poisoning. And it ended up, so what ends up happening is that for a time, they thought that this was another case where it was some random psychopath, like, putting shit into the Excedrin capsules, like a copycat. Only they found out later, as they did the investigation, that it was actually Bruce Nickel, one of the victims. It was his wife, Stella, had put cyanide and some shit from, like, some algicide from, like, her fish tanks, because she did, like, she was, like, a fish tank hobbyist. She put that in his Excedrin capsules and killed him and this other woman. And she was trying to get his insurance payout. She got, like, almost $200,000 from that. But it took them a long time to figure that out because, like I said, this whole fucking shit had happened with the Tylenol shit. So, and she was, like, right up there at the front. She's like, oh, I'm going to sue the Excedrin company or whoever the fuck made Excedrin. I'm going to sue them because, like, all their fucking pills are adulterated. It killed my husband and it killed this other people. And then they turned out, like, as the investigation went on, that she fucking did that shit.
Damn.
Because the bottle that killed him and the bottle that killed this other woman, Susan Snow, they were both, like, from the same lot, and it was, like, in her house. So they're like, the chances of this being two different bottles, very slim. So they found out that it was her, that she had done it.
Yeah, that's yeah. Somebody in the comments, Jason's bringing up a good thing. Maybe she killed her husband to make it look random.
She did.
Yeah.
Well, she did.
Yeah.
That's kind of what, because her whole thing, like,
So
look,
maybe she killed the other people?
Stella Nickel. No. This is a different case. This was in Washington State.
Okay, all right.
This happened like 3 or 4 years later.
Okay.
But I think that's where she got the idea, because I think she wanted to bump off her husband to get the insurance money.
So she made it look like a Tylenol,
but she wanted to make it look like that kind of shit. That's what I'm saying.
I got you.
Because at first they thought that it was the same thing.
I got you.
But it took them a while to, like, figure out that it was her.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing about her. Stella Nickel is her name. You can look her up on Wikipedia. Now, she was kind of like, even from a very early age, she was, like, super into, like, doing fraud and all that kind of shit. She did all kind of shit. And she also had, like, some violent kind of crimes too. Like, she, like, beat her kids, and she did other shit too. Fraud, forgery, that type of shit. So she meets her husband, and at first her and the husband get along really well. Like, they're both drunks and she's, like, into it. But he, like, goes to AA and stops drinking, and that pisses her off because apparently she really likes drinking and she doesn't want to be with somebody that's sober. And so that, like, makes her really mad, and apparently she gets an idea that she's going to bump him off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, so he comes home with a headache one day, takes some Excedrin, and then he collapsed and then died. Now, they didn't think anything of it at the time. They thought that maybe it was, like, just he had cardiac arrest, or because he had emphysema, and it's like maybe it was that. And then, but then this other woman dies, Sue Snow, who is, like, she's like a bank manager or something like that. And so then they find out that the same poison that killed her had killed him, and then they found that poison at their house. You know what I mean? At the Nickel house. So they figured out that it was the same. And also that it didn't help, too, that it wasn't just the cyanide, but it was also the algicide. And they figured out that the algicide was from, like, that, because you used it, like, to kill algae in your fish tanks. And they figured out that Susan Nickel had bought it at, like, a fish store, and that she had put it in there, too. Like, I guess for good measure. I don't know. Not a master criminal, obviously. But yeah, so she eventually got caught. She got arrested. I think she's not supposed to get out until, like, 2040. I'm sure she'll be dead by then. She got, like, a 90-year sentence.
Oh, yeah, she did.
Yeah. But yeah, but she did definitely try to, like, make it look like.
All right, let's see.
And like I said, she also, like, tried to sue the Excedrin company, like, she was making it seem like it happened at the manufacturing level or whatever. So she did, like, willingly, like, make it look like that kind of shit.
All right. Patrick Blair says Ted Kaczynski's bombings were targeted and ideological.
Yeah.
They weren't random like the Tylenol stuff.
That's kind of, yeah.
It makes no sense that he was involved. I agree.
That's kind of what I'm thinking. I'm kind of leaning toward it being the extortion guy, just because once I found out that he had probably allegedly, like, murdered another dude.
Mark said QAnon is real. Okay.
He's being sarcastic.
Okay. QAnon, I think, that's a phenomenon.
I think that was a 4chan or 8chan group that decided they were going to think of the stupidest conspiracy theory they could think of that someone would actually believe.
I don't believe so. I believe
That's what I think.
I don't believe so. I believe it was kind of like...
and then people actually believed it, and so they just kept it going. I think
it was kind of like a group of people that were trying to pick together a bunch of different news sources to make a picture of something.
Yeah, see, Victor says QAnon is 8chan trolls. That's, yeah,
but I also think that has... Just because somebody says it doesn't mean it's real. I think it was crowdsourced news narrative. That's what I think it was. Is it accurate? I don't know, man. The only thing that I've seen from it is they're saying it's a fucking bunch of satanic pedophiles. But pedophilia keeps fucking popping up over and over again. And I remember, all right, you bitches can say whatever the fuck you want. I remember back in the 90s, they had a fucking Senate hearing where a bunch of girls were put up. I think it was Senate hearing or a hearing before the House. Bunch of girls that came out of the foster home system said that they were sent to... It was like something out of Satanic Panic. That they were sent to doctors' places and psychologists, and that they were kept in cages and molested, and that they forced multiple personalities into them in an attempt to turn them into sex operatives. And that shit was like in the 80s and 90s, early 90s. And underage sex operatives does seem to be a theme in intelligence communities going back to Nazi Germany. The Nazis knew about that. They were taking kids. This is some shit civilians don't understand. Intelligence agencies will do whatever. They're above the law. They're criminal organizations. In Nazi Germany, they were taking kids... Nazi doctors, and there was a lot of people in the Nazi party were doctors. They noticed in their version of the fucking what do you call it, orphanages, that there was a bunch of fucking multiple personality kids. They found out that sexual abuse caused multiple personalities, and somehow during the Nazis, during that Operation Paperclip that got taken into the fucking, you know what I mean, the rocket science and shit, some of them were actually taken into the CIA about mind control, and they were in that MK Ultra program. They were trying to, evidently, this is rumored at this point, that they were trying to induce multiple personality disorder in kids to turn them into spies and assassins. But evidently they found out you could also use it as dirt on people to control them. In the same way, back in the old days, you could use being gay to control somebody. But you can't use that anymore. But being a pedophile, that's holding serious dirt over somebody. It makes sense to me, based in my fucking knowledge, that maybe an intelligence agencies would be interested in underage sex operatives. And then all of a sudden, boom, Child Island man appears. Epstein. I'm telling you, man. Shit's gonna come out, and your heads are gonna fucking spin. They're more sophisticated and more evil than you think they are. They just are.
Alex says, satanic rituals like that are real. I was the victim of a cult that flushed me down a daycare toilet as a child.
Bitch, you keep talking
Did you meet Chuck Norris as well?
Bitch, well, no, that shit was
and
obviously...
And then did you fly away?
That shit was obviously fucking, you know what I mean, trying to get crazy fucking statements out of kids. But no, man, intelligence agencies could do some fucking weird ass shit. If you can get your hands on kids that don't have parents, you could do, and have all this fucking knowledge, like fucking, yeah, if we molest them, we'll turn them into multiples and program them into sex operatives so we can get people to have sex with them on tape and control them or assassinate people. That'd be a powerful weapon. That's how crazy some of those intelligence agencies are. That's what it's about. It's like something like out of a gang. Anyway.
I'm just not sure how effective that is, because...
It may not be effective, but...
quote-unquote multiple personality disorder, which they now call dissociative identity disorder, is very, very rare, and some people actually question whether it exists at all.
I understand that. But what they would have found out through that program eventually is that all you have to do is to get a motherfucker on tape having sex with a kid, and you got him. You can get him to do whatever you wanted. And that's what the Child Island man was.
Don't have sex with kids.
Don't have sex with kids.
That's
fucking what's his name told those Hollywood people stop fucking kids. And he was he joking? We don't know. Stop having sex with kids. That's the fucking rumor.
It should be very easy.
And those people, some of those people were on the flight logs to the Child Island. Child Island man was fucking a real man, and Ghislaine Maxwell had CIA fucking connections. I think Child Island man was a CIA operative. I think he was CIA. That's why he didn't go down for that shit he did here in Florida. It sounds fucking crazy, but they are crazy. That's the thing you gotta understand. Intelligence agencies are fucking crazy. All right. All right, you deny if you want until those motherfuckers fucking got you on tape, fucking them little kids.
No one's gonna get me on tape fucking little kids. Why would they get me on tape fucking little kids? When have I ever done that?
They got a lot of dudes on tape fucking little kids. Evidently they got them out of that island.
I'm not a dude.
Yeah.
And I don't fuck little kids, so why would I be on tape doing any of those things?
Okay, Filthy Garter says, you can tell this chick is tired of hearing his bullshit stories. Bitch, you talking sporty like that makes me just think that you're trying to ride the fucking cock. Sexy motherfucker, you talking sporty to me like that on our own show? And then you go, let's see what else is going on. Talking about the incel idol, the guy you're talking about?
Yeah, Elliot Rodgers.
Elliot Rodgers.
I told you, man, he has a whole fan club. Yeah. It's disturbing. I don't know how you didn't know about that, but it's very disturbing. Because, they're like, yeah, bitches won't sleep with me, so I'm going to go just kill a bunch of random girls. Because that's how it works, I guess. I don't know.
Sheila says, I heard the orphans made the best operatives. That's what the rumor is. But we won't know until more information is out. By the look on her face, I don't think Jenny's buying your theory, Tom.
I'm not.
Look, Alex. Jenny's a normal woman. She lived a normal fucking life. I didn't. I know these bitches are crazy. There's shit that I fucking was involved in the military and also in the fucking contracting world. Some of it she knows, and some of it she knows is true. And also my family connections. You know, my family is State Department and other federal agencies and stuff. Weird shit happens. They do weird shit.
Well, sure, I know that, but I'm just like, I'm just like, show me the evidence. That's all I'm saying.
Well, here's the thing.
It's like, look, I write about true crime. I know about all this kind of shit. I know how crazy people are. I know the fucking shit people get up to. I know he thinks I'm naive and all this other shit, but I'm not. I know what shit get like.
Remember that.
But I'm also aware that people make up a bunch of stupid shit also. So I'm very reluctant of just believing shit.
The whole
someone say so.
The whole MK Ultra mind control program. We are very lucky to have just that. There's evidently a lot more to that we don't have. That evidently was just a small part of it. That right there gives you an idea of what it was you were dealing with back then. Who knows what it is now? I mean, look. U.S. Army, man, we were guarding fucking poppy fields in Afghanistan. Why? Drugs are fucking CIA black budget money. Why do you think?
Duh.
Where do you think black budget money comes from? Well, we know
but that's not weird.
We know it comes from drugs. But then let me ask you this. Does it come from human trafficking? Have they included that too? They probably would. They probably would. Okay. I think that's in their psychological profile. Now, the guys at the top, if they're already okaying fucking human trafficking, are they taking slaves themselves? Well, if you look at I think they probably might be. We have to know more. We just have to know more. There's a lot of missing people, and you would think maybe state level powers would be involved in that. But that's not even the main thing. I think there's a lot more to it than that. I don't want to get in trouble. I don't want to fucking say it anymore because I think it will eventually come out. I think it'll eventually come out. it's easy to control people with dirt. That's the more dirt you have on someone, the more control you have. So if you're going to let somebody in on some contracts or a good deal, you got to get dirt on them before you let them join the gang, or you won't be able to trust them. And that's the way an organized crime syndicate's at work. You kill someone in order to get in, and they got dirt on you, and then all of a sudden you can trust that person. They're co-conspirators. It makes more sense to me that we're dealing with basically something kind of like ancient Rome. That's really what the United States is. And they're doing bad shit, and it's like a mafia.
But if you didn't do bad shit in the first place, you wouldn't have to worry about it.
But if you didn't do the bad shit, you wouldn't get into the club.
I don't want to be in that club. Anyway.
That's the club that they're in.
I don't want to be in that club.
That's the way I'm seeing it, because they want that dirt, or they won't
Y'all
let you
can look
in.
all through my history and look up those.
Well,
not gonna find nothing. And even if you did find something,
I'm
not gonna get upset about it.
We are not living in a fish tank. We are living in a shark tank. And if you look up, it's nothing but sharks. You can't get to that level without being bad. You can't accrue that amount of money and power without being bad. I've never seen it in history or any historical documents going back to the Roman era of where good people made money. Only bad people make money and gain power. That seems to be the rule. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Whenever I start talking crazy, the money starts rolling in. Yes, it is true. That's what I suspect. We can't prove it yet, but that's what I think it is.
Well, I don't think that's news, though. I mean, obviously, like, people on the top are shitty. I mean, obviously. Everybody's known that.
I just think
forever.
they're shittier than you think they are. That's what
they can't be shittier than I think they are.
I think they're shittier than
they can't be shittier than I think
they're basically organized criminals.
Because, like, maybe that's why I don't get upset, because I already, like, have a dimmer view of them than, you know what I mean? I already think they're human garbage, so I don't really, like,
well, you know,
I'm not bothered. I'm just like, it stands to reason.
Drug trafficking, human trafficking, lying, cheating, murder, assassination. There's too many dead people connected.
Like I said,
connected to too many powerful people. That's,
All I'm saying is that, like, I already have a dim view of people at the top. Yeah. I've always had that. You know, I grew up poor, so it's like I've always had a dim view of rich people. Whatever they get up to, I'm sure they're getting up to that and worse. So that doesn't surprise me. I'm just saying that for evidence of, like, a vast conspiracy type of thing, like some of the people, like I said, I'm not a big conspiracy theory person. For some of these vast conspiracies to work, you have to have, like, thousands of people that have to be in on it, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, I feel like the bigger the conspiracy, the less likely it is to be true, because there's too many people that have to keep quiet, and there's not enough evidence for it. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that conspiracies don't exist, or that rich people don't suck, because they do. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that some of the shit that people come up with is far-fetched, or they don't have evidence for it. That's all I'm saying.
I'm not saying it's a conspiracy. I'm saying it's a lifestyle. I think that's just how they are. It's not a conspiracy.
I'm not arguing with that, because, like I said, they suck.
I think that's their normal way of being, and it's been that way for probably centuries, probably a couple hundred years.
Well, the thing about it is
just that we're finding out about it now.
No, everybody's always known about that.
But I don't think so. I think
Where have you been?
I think some people believed that the powers that fucking ran the show cared about Americans, American people, wanted to win.
Only idiots believe that.
Yeah, that's okay.
Only idiots believe that. No one cares.
I thought they kind of cared. No, they don't.
No,
they don't.
I don't know why that's.
They're kind of.
I don't know why that's shocking to you. I don't know why.
Kind of more like monarchs from the Middle Ages.
That's what I mean. Well, like I said, maybe because I grew up as, like, a broke dick fucking.
Yeah, you were poor.
So yeah,
I believed in the lies.
No.
Okay.
No, I never did. So it's like, rich people suck. Oh, film at 11. It's like no shock to me. And, like, anything you can tell me about, like, how they behave, the more money you have, the more shit you can get away with, and you're not going to get caught. So of course they're going to get away with it, because they're horrible, horrible people. So that is not shocking to me. To me, it's, like, not a conspiracy. It's not, like, a big revelation. It's not anything. It's just like, I'm like, of course that's what they would do, because that's what they would do. They have the money and they get away with it.
This is a classic Spock versus Kirk moment on the show. Exactly. She is Spock and I am Kirk. Very
But
much
I'm not
so.
surprised by it. You seem like you to be constantly surprised by it, and I do not understand that
Since
whatsoever.
you're not in trouble, Tom, go on a spiel. Okay, I did the spiel.
I don't. It's not so much that I'm surprised by I'm just surprised why you think it's like revelatory.
Yeah, Zach saying he just saw the fucking videos about MK Ultra.
I thought everybody knew like how badly everyone at the top sucked. I just thought that was like common knowledge. So it's like I don't really know why you're like shocked by it.
Okay, go ahead, Jenny. Go ahead and go to the show.
I'm just saying. Well, I was mostly done. It's like it's just kind of like I was actually. You know what? I was actually going to talk
Tina
about.
says Tom and Jenny sound like me and my hubby. Yeah. And Zach says, I think of them like Spectre. Zach, so do I. I think of them exactly like Spectre. I think the guys that fucking were involved in those...
Thank you, Victor.
Thank
Team
you very
Spock.
much. Yeah, Team Spock. I think the guys that were actually that were behind... the guys that were involved in the newer James Bond movies are talking about what we're talking about, Zach. I think they are. And I think it's the international fucking the international ruling class, and they just see us as slaves, really. That's what I think.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the funny thing too was that we've been rewatching like Star Trek the original series. We're almost at the end of season 3, last season. What was the episode? Because remember the episode we were watching the other day and I was like drinking it. I was like, you missed like the first part of it. And I'm like, everybody's like so fucking cranky on this episode.
Yeah, it's the cranky episode. Tila says, yeah, okay, yeah, they shot exteriors of burnt offerings at the Dismal as well. Tila, man, you know your shit. Go ahead and friend us on Facebook.
Yeah,
Tila.
that's like the same house they've used that in a lot of horror movies.
You go ahead and friend us. You go ahead and friend us on Facebook. Tila.
Burnt Offerings was so fucking good. Read the book too if you haven't. It's like by
shit.
Robert Marasco. It's really, really good.
Yeah.
That's like
yeah.
I love like haunted house shit.
Yeah. I don't know if I said something, but my dad had a thing for fucking Karen Black. He thought that was the sexiest fucking woman he ever
saw. Very sexy.
And he said he liked that little bit of cross-eye that she had. He fucking loved that.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. That like made her.
Yeah, my dad was.
She was like kind of weird looking, but like also kind of.
She was hot. She was hot in fucking what was it, House of a Thousand Corpses? When she was like, how old was she? About 60?
Probably.
She was still fucking hot. I thought she was.
Well,
sexy.
that's what I mean. That's what we're saying about the difference between being beautiful and being sexy.
Yeah, she was fucking sexy.
Sometimes it coincides, but not always.
I get molested by this sexy ass old woman, fucking crazy ass, fucking sexy ass woman, just fucking molested.
There's something about her that's like very, very
I can't take it. I can't take it.
She's like that weird cross-eye.
Yeah,
like, it's weird, but it's like it's.
I'm like, Daddy was right. Daddy was right. Take it.
I think the thing about it, I don't know what it is, because like I kind of like people that are sort of weird looking but own it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like because anybody.
Taylor, we're on Facebook. 13 o'clock. You can get us through 13 o'clock, and through that, me and Jenny are fucking connected to that. You can find us. Go ahead and friend on there.
Yeah.
You know your shit. Go ahead and friend. You're in the club. You're in the club.
You don't have to pay
You're in the
money
club,
or anything.
You know Burnt Offerings. You're in the club.
I feel like that's still really underrated.
That's a fucking excellent fucking movie.
That's one of my favorite haunted house movies from the 70s.
Yeah. So
I mean, that and The Changeling are like some of my very favorite. I mean, The Haunting is my favorite one in the 60s. Mm-hmm. And also, that's my favorite haunted house novel ever, Haunting of Hill House.
There was a lot of good fucking haunted house movies during that age. I liked The Evil.
That is also
I like The Evil, which is a weird haunted house movie.
Very good.
With a fake Burt Reynolds in it.
DJ Maniac says, I bet you love Steve Buscemi, if that's the case. I do, actually.
I like Buscemi. He's cool.
Because, like I said, he's, like, kind of, not ugly exactly, but it's like...
He's an odd-looking guy.
He's odd-looking, but in a sexy kind of way. Yeah. Just because he doesn't care that he's odd-looking. Like I said, it's not so much what you look like, it's how you project, like, out to the world. So it's like, if you look weird... but you're, like, confident about it and you own it. You're like, yeah, bitch, this is what I look like. And it's like, fucking deal with it. There's something, like, really, really sexy about that. I know that's, like, strange, but it's not always about looks. Because the thing about it is that when you're really, really good looking, like, look at some of the I can't think of any examples at the moment, but, you know, because I don't know who's, like, super popular at the time, at the moment. But I feel like a lot of, like, just attractive people are kind of samey. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like a lot of them, like, kind of look like one another. I kind of, like, confuse them for one another. Like, is this that dude or that dude? They kind of look alike, and I can't really tell them apart. Because I feel like they either have a similar look, and that's why they got chose, or they got similar, like, plastic surgery, like, to look the same or whatever. So I'm always kind of, like, more interested in people who just look really distinctive. Like, immediately you know who that is. But they have something else to offer. Like, you know what I mean? They have, like, some other kind of, like, they're really funny or they're really smart or something like that. And we've talked about this before, where I don't know if this is just a woman thing or a dude. I don't know what it is. But it's like, I do feel like looks are not as important either when you're a woman, when you're older, whatever. I feel like personality goes a long way toward, and confidence goes a long way toward making you attractive to other people, really, no matter what you look like. Like, if you have, like, other things to offer. Because, I mean, let's be honest about the shit. People's physical attributes, even if you're beautiful when you're, like, young and stuff like that, you're gonna get old. You're gonna, like, look like an old person. We all are. So you better cultivate, like, some other shit. Because if you're, like, coasting on, like, look how cute I am, yeah, that's not gonna last very long, I hate to tell you. So that's kind of where I'm coming from with that. Yeah, see, she says confidence and a great sense of humor go a long way. They do indeed. And yeah, I do kind of feel like that's the kind of thing. Okay, so I like Willem Dafoe too. He has a hot voice. He does, actually. Please tell me you saw Antichrist. Did it bother you? Because I know it bothered a lot of people, but it didn't bother me as much. I thought it was a really good movie, but I don't know. I wasn't bothered by the genital mutilation. I guess a lot of people were. We watched Carpenter's Vampires today and loved it. See, I need to see that. I don't think I've seen John Carpenter's Vampires because I heard it wasn't very good. You haven't seen John Carpenter's Vampires, right?
Not that I remember.
I don't remember seeing it.
Not that I remember.
Tila said that we should watch it. They just watched it today.
Okay.
Zach
I like
says,
Carpenter.
Zach says, I think young Jack Nicholson is kind of hot too. He was actually a good-looking dude when he was younger. Like, if you see him in, like, oh, thank you, Mango. Great show tonight, guys.
Thanks,
Missed a lot, but we'll get on it
damn.
to catch up.
Thank you.
I know, really.
Thank you, Badge.
Holy crap.
Weren't sure we were going to make any money tonight. We went, 2 hours without fucking making any money?
Oh, I don't know. We're at 3.5 hours now. We've been going on for something.
Yeah.
I was actually going to talk about the Paraquat murders, but I didn't get around to it.
You're not going to do
that
it?
was actually, well, it's not like that happened in Japan. It happened like a couple years after this one. And I'm not sure if it was a copycat of this.
Yeah.
But it was somebody that was going around poisoning cans of, it was like this vitamin C, like an energy drink, like in vending machines in Tokyo.
Yeah.
And they were going around, like, somehow, like, poisoning the cans and, like, putting them back in the vending machines, and people were getting them and getting sick with paraquat, which is, like, a herbicide. That's what they use over here to, like, kill marijuana plants. Right. That's, like, what the DEA uses. So there was, like, a rash of them, like, in 1985, and they never caught that person either. So I'm not really sure if there's not a lot of information about it in, like, English language, because the Wikipedia page is in Japanese. Yeah. And the English one is just it's, like, very, very brief.
Oh, hey, Badge. I've fucking gotten some videos from you before. I kind of know who you are. If you and your wife ever want to come to Florida, man, hit me up. I got a room here you guys can stay in. If you ever want to come to Disney or whatever, just give me some warning.
I mean, we're like, how far are we from Disney? Half an hour?
About a half hour, yeah.
We're about half an hour from Disney.
Right. But I wouldn't recommend Disney. I'd go to Universal.
Well, but there's lots of theme parks here you can go to. I actually really like Animal Kingdom.
Yeah,
to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Universal is good too.
Yeah. So if you ever need a place, man, just make sure you give us some warning.
Yeah, y'all can crash here. We got a spare room.
Yeah.
We got a kitty that'll like jump on you in the night.
Maniac says, "When you gonna invite me?" I don't really know you yet, Maniac. You're a fucking heavy hitter, but yeah, fucking just give us warning.
Tila says, are Disney and Universal both open in Florida? I think they both are at this point, to a limited extent.
Yeah.
Alex says if you're in the area, you got to hit up Bible Land. Yeah, you got to go to Holy Land.
Yeah.
Is that still open?
Victor's going, she wants to stay at fucking 13 o'clock Manor. You got to fucking spend money to come to fucking 13 o'clock Manor. No, I'm just saying, you know what I mean? I extend the invitation fucking on certain cases, you know, long time fucking patrons.
Yeah, we've known you guys for a long time.
Yeah, long time patrons.
You're not going to kill
fucking,
us.
I kind of know who you are. I've seen pictures that you posted. You know, I'm friends with them on Facebook and stuff, you know what I mean? So, I can work things out. But they're overseas, you know what I mean? Fucking Badgers from England.
Yeah.
So it costs a lot of money for them to visit the United States. They got to fly over and then they got to stay in a fucking hotel or whatever.
Thank you, Victor.
Yeah,
One night at 13 o'clock Manor for $5.
Oh, there you go. Take, that'll work. You got it, bro. You got it.
Tom might even cook for you.
Yeah.
He'll make some Indian food.
Yeah.
Or pizza.
Yeah. It all just depends on who you are.
Tammy says, we'll all go and have a sleepover.
Yeah.
That'd be fun, actually.
Well, fucking, if I ever have a sleepover here at this place and shit, I'm going to put on the big camera. We're going to fucking televise that shit live. We'll stream it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Pookie she won't know
Pookie
what's
will
going
be
on.
in it. Yeah. Pookie will be in it.
She'd be like, who are all these people?
Yeah.
Why are you guys in my house?
Yeah. But if you come visit me and Jen, you got to have money too, because when you come here, we're going to buy some shit. Okay. You can't have broke dicks up in the house. You can stay free, but we're going to buy some shit. We're gonna have fucking food and all kinds of stuff. I'll send your ass down to fucking Universal or Disney or the clubs.
We do spend a lot of money at the club.
Yeah.
Which reminds me...
Starry Night's coming.
Oh, Starry Night's coming in
Starry
December.
Night's coming.
They're playing at Will's Pub, I think.
See that show.
Also, this Monday they're doing another Memento Mori at Ibar, the Halloween edition.
Yeah.
So we probably had to go to that.
Yeah, Zach. You know I know you, Zach. Fucking, you can come. You
Yeah,
put your
you're
gay ass up in the fucking guest room. I'll hook your ass up with fucking Toby the leather daddy. Power bottom.
I haven't seen Toby out in a long
Yeah.
time. We haven't been out either.
Toby would do bad things to you, Zach. I had to keep him away from you. He'd hurt you.
You gotta watch these old people.
Yeah, he
We're the worst.
He would go fucking Rob Halford on your ass in a fucking heartbeat.
Oh, for sure.
He's like, hand me the whip. Showing up in his fucking leather vest and shit with his fucking leather cocksucker hat on, that little fucking cop hat that he wears and shit. Fucking dick's gonna be sucked, bro. When that shit's on. You better watch out.
Oh my goodness.
Dick's gonna be sucked.
Tammy says, I'll share Pookie's bed.
Yeah. Everybody's trying to come over to the house now.
You started.
Yeah, all right.
Pookie sleeps in our bed usually. She either sleeps in our bed or she sleeps on one of the dining room chairs. For whatever reason, she's decided she really likes just sleeping in one of the dining room chairs. I go out in the morning to make coffee at like 7 in the morning, and there she is.
Yeah.
I don't know. She's weird.
I think Taylor said she's in California. I'm from California. What part of California you in, Tila? You and your husband probably over in Southern California. I was from fucking Long Beach. Long Beach and Carson, around that area. Halford announced in an interview this week that he swallows because some comedian accused him of gargling in an interview with Sebastian Bach, which pissed him off. Damn, that's right.
Wait,
fucking,
Sebastian Bach was that guy from that fucking other hair metal band.
I think it was fucking White Lion, wasn't it?
No, that was fucking... Wait, was it White Lion?
White Lion or Poison or something?
No, it wasn't Poison.
One of those.
Fuck was...
one of those.
Winger? No.
It was one of them fucking homosexual pretty boy metal bands that all the girls liked.
Not me.
Yeah, well, you know
that was a subset of women.
Yeah, I didn't like that kind of metal.
You're talking about, because I was in school at that time when that happened. Like, you had two contingents. You had like the new wave and punk chicks, which was me and my friends. Yeah. And then you had the other girls that liked hair metal, and we did not like those girls.
If I was gonna fuck with metal, it was gonna be straight on Leather Daddy metal. Fucking with fucking Rob Halford, man, Judas Priest.
Skid Row, thank you.
Skid Row, that's right. Yeah.
That's right. I knew that dude's name. I just couldn't think of what band he was from.
Iron Maiden, doing some British fucking straight boy metal. Fucking, I liked Metallica, but it played out quickly. But then remember all the black metal like Venom, and then California had Slayer. That was good too, man. Fucking I liked.
I don't mind. I actually kind of like Slayer.
Venom, yeah, Venom is Slayer. Venom was kind of like the Motorhead of satanic metal. It kind of had a heavier groove to it, kind of blues sounding. I liked it.
I can't say that I'm all that familiar. Not really a metal person, I gotta say. Some of it's okay, but you know.
Tammy says the bed's gonna be crowded because my cat has to sleep with me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pookie will sleep with us in like shifts. Like she came up last night and slept next to my knee for like 3 hours, and then she fucked off.
Yeah.
And then I found her. She was actually sleeping in the front room, like by the window.
Maniac says Slayer was more like thrash than black metal. Yeah, I guess it was.
Yeah.
But it had that satanic fucking angle to it. I liked Slayer, man. Seasons in the Abyss was really good. Fucking, shit, what was that other one that had? Fuck, man, I'm trying to remember that other fucking one that had War Ensemble in it. Oh, fuck, that was a good War Ensemble. And,
what are you looking at me for? I don't know.
Man, you don't know that shit. It's been a long time since I've heard all that.
All I know about Slayer is all the
South
stuff
of Heaven and War and all that shit. But
Ooh.
Seasons in the Abyss. Yeah. Seasons in the Abyss. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. So you're done with the case?
Yeah.
Well, can we shut it down now?
Yeah, do your plugs like you said you were going to do. That's
you got to do a plug. Look, if you guys were looking for more patrons, you can join us at Patreon. At patreon.com /13 o'clock.
If you're already a patron, remember to go vote on the Halloween shows.
Yeah. Make sure to like and subscribe. Another thing is that Jenny's got a shit ton of books. You guys can fucking look at the books that she's got going on and fucking shit. What's that shit called? I'm drunk.
What's that shit called?
What's that shit called?
I knew this was gonna happen.
She wrote a shit ton of books and got more fucking books coming. We're gonna get her some help. Fucking Sophie's gonna join the team to be a research assistant to help speed up research for the show, and which will free her up to do some more stuff for the book so we can get book production banged up, because that last trilogy's selling really well.
Well, I'm gonna do another. I'm looking at. I think I'm gonna do another Faceless Villain, but for the 2000s, and I think I'm gonna make it 4 books.
4 books.
And I think I'm gonna add disappearances and also solved cases from the cases that were in the old books that were solved in the 2000s.
Right.
I think I'm gonna add that.
So it's a highly rated fucking true crime.
That's
books.
my next project.
Everybody seems to like it. Selling real well. We don't really have anything for fucking paranormal coming up. Unseen Hands still selling pretty. Sales are steady on that.
Yeah.
But the market is calling Jenny to go more towards that crime.
Well, and I'm kind of more interested.
She's
in
more
true
into that
crime,
shit too.
To be honest.
Yeah, paranormal. It's a smaller subset. There's not as many customers. The market doesn't ask for it at the same rate crime does.
People can't get enough of
They can't get enough of that crime.
I can't get enough of true crime.
Yeah.
I watch that all the time, like for fun. He doesn't let me because he's like, man, this shit's so depressing.
Zach said, Jenny, I could help you with your books too. I'm down here. You're down here where?
If I'm down there.
Oh, if I'm down here.
Tom can't read.
Yeah. I'm drunk, man. I'm seeing like triple. Okay, fucking Mega says he's on our way for Halloween, all of us. If that's true, man, fucking just hit us up.
Pop in, you can be on the show.
You can be on the show.
I got my costume. I got the last part of my costume in the mail today. I'm so excited. I thought it wasn't coming, and I thought I was gonna have to like.
You can bring you and your wife.
Compromise.
We got a small private.
It showed up.
We got a small semi-private airport just a few miles from here, called Sanford Airport.
It's like Sanford/Orlando International.
Sanford/Orlando International Airport. That is never busy, and it's never fucking crowded. You can fly in.
It's like the secret airport.
It's like the secret airport. And if you fucking try to get in there, it's actually cheaper sometimes, and you're in and out of there a lot faster.
And it's super, super close to our house.
Super close to our house. That's the one the orange man uses when he comes here.
We're not saying that.
You're not saying that. She's mad about it.
Well, I'm just mad about his existence in general.
Isn't that something? Isn't that something?
Why does he exist?
I like Trump. Go ahead.
Why?
I like Trump.
I don't get it.
I just like him.
I don't get it.
I just think he's hilarious.
He's a terrible human being.
I think he's hilarious. He's
a terrible human being.
Next Halloween, y'all should dress as regular non-goth people.
See, everybody says that, and it's like, I don't know if I could do that, though. Although I will say that one year, this wasn't last year, maybe the year before, at Memento Mori, we had, like, the Halloween whatever, and everybody dressed up. Our friend Shauna, who's, like, she's from, where is she from? Fucking...
Shauna's from fucking Boston.
Brockton,
Massachusetts, outside Boston.
And she's like a skater chick. She's like a punk skater chick. She's got the fucking shaved head, the dreads, and everything like that. And she came as like I don't even want to. It's like a weird like Midwestern like housewife type of thing. I did not even recognize.
They can't get a good view. They can't get a good mind's eye view of her. All right, she's mixed. All right, and she came on like a '70s kind of like afro, bell bottoms. She just looked fucking cool. It looked like a real person. It didn't look like a costume.
Well, that's what, like, when she first came in...
It looked like a real black chick to me. It was
weird because she had, like, a cardigan and, a purse, and she was carrying it like that.
And she looked like a 70s...
And she walked in, like, she had, like, this weird kind of, like, 70s, and I was like, who the fuck is that? And then, like, it took me a second, and then, like, a minute, I recognized her, and then I laughed my fucking ass off.
She looked like, if you guys have ever seen an old sitcom called Good Times... She looked like a cast of somebody off the cast. It looked like JJ's mom. Or JJ's sister. That's what she looked like.
Yeah, kind of.
And this is a goth, punk rock kind of skater chick. You know what I mean? Her dad was black. Her mom was from where? Fucking somewhere in Europe.
I can't remember.
I think she was from Holland.
I don't remember.
I think she was. They met they got together, they met in some island somewhere. Remember? They were like wasn't Haiti or something, or Jamaica or something. I think is what they said they were. And when we see her, she just looks like a fucking punk rock chick or something, with all these fucking dreads. They turned around and all of a sudden just something like straight out of Good Times.
And she's carrying like this white purse, like this, with pearls.
Yeah, like fucking horn-rimmed glasses and shit. And it took me a second. I was like, huh?
And then we just laughed and laughed.
Yeah, just fucking laughed.
Because if you know her, it's like way funnier.
If you know her, it's fucking funny because she's just.
And she had like, I think she had like nurse's shoes on.
Yeah,
or something like that. I don't know if I took a picture. Did I take a picture
funny
of her? I don't remember if I did that night.
Funny.
Oh my god, that made me laugh so much. But yeah, she did dress like a normal person. And we did like make a joke about how Tom should like dress up as a golfer or some kind of shit, which would probably be funny, but I don't know. I don't know. It's.
Alex and I thought she was from Revere. Alex must know her. I think she might be from Revere. No, she was from Brockton.
Yeah, she's from Brockton.
She lived in Brockton. Maybe she was from Revere. I guess Alex knows who she is.
I don't know.
How do you know that, bro? That's some weird shit.
Are you stalking us?
I thought she said Brockton.
Leslie asked me, have I ever danced to Bela Lugosi's Dead? Many times.
Talking about?
Many times.
That was the goth national anthem.
It is.
Here in the United States.
You kind of have to dance to it. It's the law.
That or fucking Fascination Street by The Cure. That was the other guy.
I will usually sit that one out because as much as I love The Cure, I'm not a fan of that song. I have to say. That's probably my least favorite Cure song.
That was the national anthem, though.
I know, but I'm just saying that right here. But I will dance to Bela Lugosi's Dead. Although I would prefer that they would play, because Bela Lugosi's Dead, bitch, man, that is such a long song. It's like fucking 9 minutes. And
Mango says the whole chat room's coming. I can't have all you bitches up in my house fucking my carpet up, drinking up all my booze and scaring my cats and shit.
Scaring my cats.
I gotta know who you are, and the shit's gotta be one at a time, and you can't be some broke dick dog coming in here fucking sucking up all my shit. But I tell you this, fucking Badger, if you come here, bro, I'm gonna take your British ass to the fucking range. We're gonna shoot some machine guns. I got a special range for that.
A special range.
Yeah, I got some shit that you will fucking freak out. You're like, you own that? I go, yeah, I do own that. I got some shit. You're gonna see if you come here.
Alex said from the Halloween.
You're buying ammo though.
Well, yeah.
You ain't shooting up my shit.
Zach says, I don't drink, Tom. Just get some good pot ready.
Yeah.
Okay, we can arrange that probably. Are you ready? You
I don't fucking smoke any of that weed though. I grew weed.
I don't like. I'm not a fan. I understand how other people don't like it, but it doesn't affect me in the way that it affects some other people. It affects me in like a really
makes you slow,
negative way.
Make you slow.
No, it makes me
makes you like worried
paranoid.
about shit, and you're like,
And like I said, I don't need that. I get enough fucking social anxiety. I don't need more on top of it. I need something to like fucking chill me out.
Weed's only interesting when you're like in your 20s.
Which, well, it does chill some people out, which I wish it did to me, but it doesn't. It has the opposite effect, so that's why I don't do it. But yeah, so you ready to wrap it up? We're almost at 4 hours.
Meg was asking, she's looking like Pam Grier.
No.
Pam had a killer ass fucking figure. She's pretty. If you go back and fucking look at Pam back in the 70s, man, for her ethnic group, that's what you wanted to look like. That was like the ultimate black woman. Fucking no, our friend didn't really look like that. We did a show, you can see.
A long time ago, yeah.
Long time ago.
She was on one of our Halloween specials or one of our specials.
Yeah, she's been here. No, it's a different type. You can tell she has some kind of Germanic or Teutonic features to her. You know, you can tell she's mixed. Pam just looked black to me. You know, pretty much. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah. Louis says, is weed legal in Florida?
I don't know.
I think medical weed is.
Nobody cares.
Yeah, I don't.
Nobody cares about that.
I don't think anybody cares.
Yeah, especially not nowadays.
Well, shit.
Civilization is fucking kind of fragmenting and falling apart. It's legal to fucking burn up cop cars now. Nobody gives a shit about any of that stuff.
Nobody likes cops.
Yeah.
But like,
I think we have to.
There's a car that there's a house that is like on the trail where I walk all the time. I'm pretty sure they're growing like a shit ton of weed in the back.
Yeah, you can smell it.
Every now and then you walk by there and you can like smell it, and I'm just
bikers.
Yeah,
it's bikers.
They have like a whole compound, man.
Yeah, and you
like it's a weed. They're testing out the supply today, I guess.
Yeah.
It smells like it's very, very pungent.
It smells like that sticky weed resin.
Yeah,
you can smell it. That's just here's the fucking thing, man. Why do they give a shit about that? That was growing here naturally just for forever. That's just something
that's a big question.
Yeah,
ask
that's
the people that made fucking reefer madness.
Yeah, that is an artificial worry.
Yeah.
I mean, I would think that alcohol would be a bigger risk than that.
Well, alcohol makes people act more bad than weed does.
Yeah, I think so.
Weed just kind of makes you like kind of sleepy and hungry.
It's just a bunch of outdated rules made by people that are long dead. That this shit's got to pass. A lot of stuff has to go. You know, and I would consider myself, I have a military background. I'm a fucking law and order type guy. I do believe that there should be law and order, because if there's no law and order, that means I'm in charge, and you don't want me in charge. You do not want me in charge. Not me and my buddies. Because we're going to do whatever we fucking want to do. You know what I mean? And I have a might makes right type mentality growing up in the third world in fucking Brazil and fucking Mississippi and shit, and kind of, you have to have somebody referee and shit. If not, dudes even worse than me will try to take over.
Victor said, I want to do the whole Florida thing. Disney, NASA, eat someone's face off.
Yeah. Yeah, the old fucking, him. I forgot about him. That naked, sexy motherfucker eating another man's face.
Also, you might need to wrestle an alligator.
You gotta wrestle an alligator.
Just saying.
That's right.
I mean.
Yeah.
If you want the whole experience. All right. How drunk are we? We're probably.
It's time to shut it down.
It's like, what is it? It's 8:45. Holy
yeah.
crap. It's like, I'm probably going to have another drink and fall asleep. Watch some horror movies. Hopefully you guys had a good time, and hopefully we talked enough about the case to like justify what I titled this shit. Yeah. I'm sure someone will complain.
Yeah.
But I'll delete it. So, So anyway, hopefully you guys had a good time hanging out with us on Saturday night. And we will see you guys tomorrow. You did your plugs, right?
Yeah, I've got fucking Zach said that Pam Grier was hot, and he's gay. He said.
Well, she's just like gay. Universally hot. I feel like.
Well, here's the thing. I kind of fucked up when I was talking about Pam Grier because of the alcohol. I was saying, like back in the 70s, she was hot. Nah, she was hot in the fucking 90s. I mean, look at her Escape from L.A. She was hot then too. That was what 96, 97, something like. So she stayed in good shape for a long time. I don't know what she looks like now, but she was fucking hot.
Leslie said there's a good movie called Fade to Black from 1980. They actually just added that not too long ago on Shudder, so it's actually on my movie review list. Yeah. Matter of fact, now that you mention it. Yeah, so you kind of did plugs, but then you kind of fucked it up.
You made me.
So
it's all entertainment.
So if you would like to financially support the show, it'd be much appreciated. Go to the Patreon page, patreon.com/13o'clockpodcast, or you go to our blog, 13o'clockpodcast.wordpress.com, and there's a link in the sidebar to a PayPal account if you'd like to give a one-time donation. Any little bit helps out the show. We use it to buy new equipment. We just, like I said, bought a new camera so we could film Pookie and do some other things. Might also use that for a webcam. We'll experiment and see if it works any better. But yeah, so we will see you guys tomorrow. Like I said, on the Matinee Live, we're going to start doing like Halloween-themed movies, like newer ones. So we're going to start doing that tomorrow. We're going to have a whole Halloween week full of shit, and I'm really like excited about it, leading up to our next Halloween show, which will be next Saturday night. So spend Halloween night with us next week. It'll probably be true crime related, because that seems like it's in the running, of the Patreon poll. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, so we'll talk to you guys again tomorrow. Bye.